The Magic Podcast, hosted by Lloyd Barnes, Craig Petty, and Peter Turner's sex toy, Pig Cake. This is your all-access behind-the-scenes news inside the current happenings of the magic industry, where Craig and Lloyd will thrust themselves inside your ears while Pig Cake squeals in the cuck chair. Every Wednesday, they'll rant, dissect, and give you their raw and unfiltered views on the art of magic. This is your final warning. There will be bad language, cuss words, fuck bombs, and multiple references to Ted Carmilovich being a nonce. So if you can handle it, lock your doors, take out your deck, spread it nice and wide, and brace yourselves for the Magic Podcast.
Welcome back to the motherfucking Magic Podcast with the legend himself, Lloyd Barnes, and stepping out of the cock chair long enough to give us his opinion on the world of magic. It is the always squealing, however, always awesome Pig Cake. How you doing, buddy?
Sandwich.
Girly cock king.
Yeah, you sandwiched an insult and then you brought in a compliment, and then the cuck chair. Thank you guys for that intro, by the way. It's wonderful. I like that I'm vibrating. I'm there shaking my little piggies off.
It's kind of like, it's just, when I was making it was like, I imagined you were like just like jerking it under the camera. And,
I'll be honest, I've watched that thing 1,000 times, and it never gets any less.
it's just you like furiously joking it.
I do feel
it's like a good film, Pig Cake. You go back and watch it, and every time you do, you pick up something new, like that little squeal at the end.
yeah, that's the part that really gets it. I also love that
My
it's-
squeal as
Peter,
well.
Peter gets a mention too, which upsets me to no end because it's just he's male. Peter Turner's cock piece, or what is it? His dildo. Thank you, mate.
I think most of you just
I
probably put it in a
appreciate it, guys.
shadow, I think.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you should have. That's the PG version, but the version you guys have, it says that I'm his sex toy.
Yes.
Yeah.
His rubber
His
fist.
Yeah.
Okay.
His rubber fist and a Fred Durst hat. Keep rolling.
Welcome, boys. We're here to talk about magic and fisting. Welcome to the Magic fucking podcast.
Very ham-fisted. See what I did there? Ham-fisted, cake.
I like what you did there, connecting the dots. I've been out of it this week. I've been over in Penguin Land. I've been like literally filming all day, all night, every day, every night. So I'm kind of out of it. I've kind of not really been keeping my finger on the pulse of the magic community. What have you guys been up to this week? I know that just before we started filming this, Lloyd sitting there in his wonderful little wife beater, he's like, we need to get this shit on the road. We need to start filming because I want to take a dip in my swimming pool, you cunt.
Yeah, I do. It's a historical heat wave. And I've worked really hard to buy a swimming pool. So I want to use that motherfucker.
That's how little Lloyd cares about you guys, by the way, listeners of the Magic Podcast, that he's out here going, fuck you guys. My pool is just calling my name. I'm going to do a fucking Chris Benoit dive onto that pool rather than be here talking magic with these two cunts, providing you guys content. Not me, though. Not me. I'm here in sunny Miami, Florida every day. Sorry, not every day. Every Tuesday. All right, at 2 a.m. for you fucks, you English toothless fucks.
The problem is nobody listens to the podcast. So there's no point recording them. Honestly, I just do this as therapy for you pair of dickheads.
Well, I don't really appreciate it, Lloyd. Thank you very much, because without this, I'd obviously jump off a cliff. But you...
Without your visage. But Craig, I want to ask you, because you've been there in the trenches in Columbus, Ohio, and I assume a lot of the videos there are just of that like party crowd, that sort of college town party crowd that you performed for. Do you guys just have endless footage of, I'm sure, that hits the cutting room floor, right? That's just unusable just because of the nature of the meth and the crack that's
Well,
partaking
you
over
know
there?
what? I've been to Columbus so many times now, and there's like 10 different venues that they tend to use over and over again. A couple of them are Pins, this place called Pins, which is this it's kind of like this bar, but it has like, every type of activity, loads of retro arcade machines, like pinball lanes, yeah, everything. And because Columbus is a college town, you can go out pretty much every single night of the week, and you're going to be able to hit one of these places, and you're going to have a decent amount of people. Like when I went to Sacramento and I was filming for Murphy's, George, who I was filming with, he said, we've got to get all the footage on the Friday and the Saturday because Sacramento is fucking dead outside of Friday and Saturday. Nobody will be out. And he's right. We went out all Sunday night and couldn't find one fucking person who wanted us to show the magic tricks. With Columbus, I could go out on a fucking Monday night, a Tuesday night, and we could very easily find a group of people that not only want to see magic, but they're up for it. And I think that's kind of one of the secrets of Penguin's success. They always have really good demos of their products. And one of the reasons is they're based in a town where people are just getting shit-faced 24/7.
Dude, I remember when Magi Fest, the first time that I went, I had there was a bar right by the hotel that it was. I think they've changed the venue since, but it dude, I ordered an old fashioned and a guy brought me like a pint glass of fucking old fashioned, and it was like $3. So what are you doing, mate? Like an old fashioned, it's like an ounce and a half, 1.5 ounces of liquor. No, this was an entire pint glass. And I asked him, how do you guys make money? He goes, volume. We just sell nonstop. So we're always selling so much volume. So fucking you could just get wankered on a any given day for less than $10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Craig, you told us some war stories about performing gigs. What's your worst filming experience with a crowd or a group?
Worst filming experience with a crowd or a group? It's difficult to say. In term, that's a really good question, actually. It's going to sound pretty egotistical. I haven't really had too much of a. I haven't really had too many war stories when it comes to filming. Live performances for trailers. I mean, you've been out with me enough times. I'm kind of prepared when I go into these situations. So I've kind of mentally got in my head, I know that I need to get this sort of reaction, and I know what I need to do it. There's been times where you've gone out to a group of people and they've just not been fun. And typically when I go out to these things, I'm filming multiple projects. So I've got like 3 sets that I need to do in any given time. So I've got like 3 different tricks, sometimes 4 different tricks. And I realize right at the fucking first trick, these guys are not going to react how we want them to react. This footage is going to be kind of unusable. But it's difficult to kind of walk away at that point because you've already kind of said, hey, I'm going to show you some magic. So there's been times where I've gone up to a group of people and I just know that none of that fucking footage is going to be usable. And yeah, I've still got to, I've still got to do it. The hardest part, honestly, is if I'm filming something that's not my project. Quite often I get involved with other people's projects. And when I'm having to get live performances for something like that, I don't know the material as well as I do my own material. And that can be sometimes a little bit tricky if I'm not completely fully aware of like everything that I need to know. Although it depends on the material. I was over in Columbus this time. I was filming 8 projects, and only 3 of them were mine. 5 of them were other projects for other people, and I didn't have a problem with that because the stuff I was doing was really good and really strong. Where sometimes, I remember when I was filming fucking Pro Caps, that was a nightmare because like, who the fuck would react to that piece of shit? But we. I'm just joking. But no, it's kind of egotistical, but I don't normally have a problem. What I have been told, and you have filmed with more people than almost anyone on the planet, so you can confirm if this is true or not. I've been told by the guys at Penguin, because I obviously know them very well, that a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, they'll have artists come over to film their material, and they just won't be confident performing their own material. They'll like go out and they'll either not want to do it, or they won't get really good reactions. And they're like, look, it's really great working with you because we know that you come prepared, you come organized. We know that you're going to get the reactions that we need. But I've been told by them and by other people as well that a lot of the time artists come in and they're just not prepared to perform their own material, and they don't really want to. Have you had that working with the various different companies you've worked with?
Yeah, I've definitely had that. So my thing is, I'm one of those people, but I'm super confident when I'm performing, but it goes against my, and I've spoken about this for so long. It goes against my my like ethos of magic about approaching strangers to show them, because I just like it to be spontaneous and all that. And I'm fortunate that I don't need to gig. So when it's come like in my case, and it's like, oh, can we go and film your material on the street? I always say no, because that's not like my materials. I didn't design it for me to approach strangers and be like, watch this shit. That's why a lot of my magic is fairly conversational, like 6 Pro and Maxim and everything. So I'm straight with them. I don't turn up and say, I don't say, yeah, you can fly me over and we'll go shoot. And then I turn up and be like, actually, I don't really kind of do this, you know? For me, it's like that. But there's literally, I can think of a few artists. I'm not going to name them because it's not fair. But where they've, in one case, literally flown to a different country to film. And when they got there, they were like, yeah, I don't perform. And they were like, what? Well, we were like, what do you mean? It's like, oh yeah, dude, like I don't fucking do this. Like, but we've only flown you, like we've done the explanations elsewhere, like we're just doing performances. And it's like, well, and they were like, did you just expect a free holiday? And it's like, well, and they just had no, yeah. So it's happened. And but I'm always a proponent of admit what, like, if you don't know something, say if you can't do something up front. You know, like some people will just try and fake it till they make it, and some people can do that. You know, some people I know can take to the stage once and just act, and you think they've been doing it for 10 years, right? And they just in their head they've thought through everything. And some people can, and some people are the complete opposite, where they've been doing it for 10 years and they're shit. You know, so but I've always been a proponent of it. Whatever you, at least for me, like whatever you see in front of you, like as a challenge or a task you've been given, if you don't know how to do it, I just kind of be like, straight up, you're probably going to be better off finding someone who can. I haven't like my best effort is not going to be anywhere near as good as their half-baked effort. Even if they come in and rush it, they're still going to be better than me trying my absolute best, kind of thing, you know. But yeah, it happens all the time, man. But that's why I've always got other artists primarily to do my trailers. So I say like with you, for example, Ryan Tricks, Kobe Wilson, who's absolutely crushed it out in Canada. I look at someone who's got a real good strength or something, like approaching strangers and getting amazing reactions. And I think in that situation, I could go out and do it, and it doesn't fit my style of performing. So you're gonna get, you know, if you're gonna rank it A star through to F, like in grades, my best effort's only ever going to get potentially a C grade on camera, because it's weird for me. Yeah, your worst effort, if you went out with which I've literally been out filming with you when you've had colds and flus and you've given the plague to all of your audience and syphilis, even on those days, your worst performance is still like a B grade. You know what I mean? So like, why would not to be like, not like that, but why, you know, why, if I can't on my best day, if I can't be as good as your worst, then give the right man give the right tools to the right person, the right man for the job.
Yeah,
but it happens. Yeah, you see it fairly frequently.
Wow, that's
I wish you could name names. That'd be great. Just fucking name names.
One of them is an absolute shocker. Is an absolute. You'd be like, what the fuck? And it was like a whole ordeal. It was like they had to like.
Well, I mean, not really, because people I think get off on Magic and different things. Like, oh, you get it off creatively. This guy gets off performance wise. So it's obviously a shitty when somebody just uses that for like a free trip. But you know, you cater to your strengths. If you're a creative person, then okay, come in for the explanation, explain the thing, be creative in that sense. But you know, be honest. And I think that's the worst part is that the ego sort of prevents that. So they want to say, oh yeah, I'm good at all this until it comes to the moment where you actually have to do something and perform, and then it gets fucked. But
Yeah, I performed to strangers like
Mhm.
as long as I flew to New York and I filmed like a bunch like 4 different trailers. There was all to strangers. But what we did was we had like a pizza filming party in an apartment in New York, or like some penthouse suite in New York. So we
always.
put up like a shout out on the internet, yo, like magic show happening in this apartment. Come down, and a bunch of people came. I never met them before. Like I didn't know who they were. Some magicians, mostly laymen, and performed. But because it was what we got to do was just like interact normally for an hour or two before, and it was just super casual. I wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't like walking up to a stranger on the street and be like, "Look what I can do," which just goes against my soul. You know what I mean? So I'm fine doing that, but yeah, it doesn't work for me. You must have had some interesting experiences, Pig Cake, because you just traveled the length of America, or the width of America, didn't you? With Pete shooting for the Psychic Survival Guide, and
Yeah,
you went to like a load of different
everywhere.
places, from actual like palm readers shops and on the streets and things. Did you have any cool, interesting experiences with that?
Well, it's always the stupidity of like it's up to the sobriety of the participant usually. Sometimes, you know, you want to say like, hey, we're on camera, fucking, you know, raise it up a little bit. We're trying to get good reactions, which I don't think it's too bad to say, especially if, you know, you've just had 3 days where you've shot and you haven't been able to get anything. So, but there was, yeah, so much shit, man. You realize the differences in the states, you know, from state to state is like a different country. So from California to Arizona, it's fucking wild how different it is. Even within California, from one city to another, you know, and I don't want to get political, but it's really funny that, you know, the big cities in California tend to be very, you know, one way. And then you move up to maybe a fucking the next city down, that's the country. It's like, we love our guns here. And it's just wildly different. You imagine you're in Texas. But phenomenal. The one thing I do hate when you know are recording and you finally find somebody that you record and you're there and you know, let's just say Peter's like, all right, so you're thinking of a 4-digit number, and they go, yeah, or you haven't told anybody? No, you haven't written anything down? No, this all is in your head? Yeah, all right, 1964, and they go, yeah, that's it. It's like, you fucker, you thought of a number. It's in your head. You haven't said anything out loud. What, do you see this every day? You cocksucker. You fucking see this every day, mate? It's the most upsetting thing to be behind the camera. Not to say that happened to Peter, but I have been, you know, recording people through just performances and shit, where it's like you see this unbelievable piece of magic that's objectively crazy. Like, all right, great. So you picked a card, it's signed, and it's no longer the deck. Now it's inside of that ashtray over there that's been the entire time in view. And they go, oh, yeah, it is. Cool. Are you, what are you fucking, what's your life like? How is your life so magical that you see something like this and you just go, oh, wow, yeah, cool. Fuck.
I think part of the reason is when you point a camera in people's face, sometimes they just seize up. Sometimes they don't want to react. They don't want to look like an idiot. I was filming in Columbus, and I was performing to these guys, and I was doing stuff, and they were loving it, and they were loving it. And I was doing this trick, and I just got to the final moment, and the guy was holding this card, and you could see he was visibly freaked out, and he just looked at me and he went, I am trying so hard not to fucking scream and run away right now. Like,
That's what you want.
yeah, I know. But I think people seize up sometimes when they're watching magic. What do you think, Lloyd? Is that something you've experienced? Oh, you've muted yourself, Lloyd.
Fucking
Sorry,
Welsh cunt.
my fucking hay fever is going crazy, so I'm trying not to. Yeah, look, I've got so much thinking on this, but there's a lot of factors that come into it with the camera, and it's because I honestly think people think they're gonna get embarrassed or something. I feel like a big part of it is people feel like they're having a prank played on them sometimes, or they're going to have a prank played on them, so they're kind of like they're not embarrassed, but they're kind of guarding themselves a bit. So it's like, okay, right, cool, and that explains the reaction as to why they're like, right, okay, as if to say like, what's next. Sometimes it is just people. All three of us have been YouTubers for years. Cameras are, to me, more confident in front of a camera than a person. So it's nothing to us, but to other people, like they have issues, like they're really worried and self-conscious, or they had a bad day and you come up and rock up with a fucking camera crew in front of them, and their brain's not in it, but they're too polite to tell you to go away, but they're not thinking, they don't, and so you find that a lot. I can remember one or two experiences of shooting with someone, and they were like, "Yeah, quickly show me a trick then." So the performer did some magic, and then they were like, that was great, thanks very much." And I think we were like getting them to sign the release form, like, "Oh, how you doing? You good? Thank you so much for like stopping." And they were like, "Yeah, I'm good, just having a really fucking bad day." And then went. I remember thinking, "Oh, that must have been why they didn't go too crazy." But fair play, they actually let us shoot with them. It was something to do with like, "Oh, I had a fucking bad day in work," or "fucking arguing with my boss." It was something along like work related, and they stormed off, pissed off with us. But so that happens. And also then you have to remember that we love magic, so we get excited. We get that fucking woo feeling when we see a fooling piece of magic. For some people, it's an existential crisis, right? Especially if they're really into it. If it's somebody who, I think that sometimes the best reactions are from people who are very intelligent, but also have no idea what the method is, and can in some way, shape, or form suspend belief. Because you show something to them, and all their brain is firing on all cylinders. They've completely not seen that there's a method, and then you show them something astounding, and their brain doesn't go into woohoo, this is awesome, wow, dude, that was sick, it was in the fucking parrot's asshole. Their brain goes into, what the fuck? Wait, what? That was amazing. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that was great. That was amazing. Yeah, great, well done, good job. And you walk off, and they still, even if you come back in 10 minutes later, they're still like in that zone of, okay, let me try and fucking process this for a minute. Because if they don't come to an answer, that could change shit for them, in their head. Like, hang on, if that really just fucking happened, then what does that mean? Like, is Santa Claus legit? Like, did it wasn't my mum stealing my teeth? What the fuck? I don't know. That's what I kind of think. Anyway, there's a few different reasons, but I think the one of my favorite approaches. I think my favorite approach at the minute is from Kobe Wilson shooting with his meta glasses, because they're so unobtrusive, they're so casual. Plus, he's a phenomenal performer as well. And there's no, I mean, I know 6 Pro gets good reactions, like screams anyway, so it's kind of like a perfect storm. But I think there's no surprise that he goes out in the least obtrusive filming gear that I can think of, because it's less obtrusive than holding a phone. Sunglasses are just normal everyday wear, right? And he gets some of the best reactions I've ever seen on camera. I don't think there's a surprise that they correlate. You know what I mean? So I think a big part of people freaking or not freaking out on camera definitely comes to do with some environmental factors.
Here's a question for both of you. I've seen over and over again in Facebook groups and on the Magic Cafe and a few other places.
Spit?
Yeah, because it's a Magic Cafe. It's kind of the reaction I get whenever I say the Magic Cafe.
I swallow every time I think about it.
Magic Cafe or Steve Brooks?
I fucking love Steve Brooks and his ramen pasta hair. Fuck, what an absolute legend, dude. You know what the worst part
Pickford,
is?
man, come on.
Somebody years ago, they were like, man, fuck, have you seen what Steve Brooks is posting on his Instagram? It's awful. It's terrible shit. And then I go and I'm like, yeah, this one's, I agree with that one. Okay. Wait, let me see the next one. Maybe it might be that one. Oh, I agree with that one too. Fuck. Oh shit, I agree with that. It's like all political shit. But they were like shitting on him. And then I'm like, oh, wait. Wait, Steve Brooks is a boy, dude. What are you talking about?
I'll never.
Is that a picture? Is that him?
Yeah, that's yeah. That's I had no idea Steve Brooks was our current vice president. That's crazy.
Oh,
I was going to say something which I'm going to get back to, but interesting Steve Brooks story. 2 years ago, filming the Christmas holiday special for Penguin, I was fucking hammered. I have never been so drunk in my life. I was ill, and they kept giving me triple whiskeys every time I went backstage. I started off drunk, and I got to the point that I don't actually remember the shoot. And the first thing I remember is the following day at 11 o'clock, Eric Tate banging on my hotel door going, can we get to the theater? Oh, I don't remember fucking anything. Anyway, that was the year that I decided it would be a really good idea to do something called Santa Rant, which would be me dressed up as Santa.
why didn't you call it Ranta Claus?
I think they did actually. I don't know. I can't remember
Come
anymore.
on, man.
The whole idea was me dressing up as Santa and having a jovial rant, a jokey rant about just whatever. They didn't factor into the fact that when I filmed this, at that point, I was fucked. And so I remember like stumbling backstage and pulling on a Santa Claus outfit while Carissa and Eric were like chatting to the audience, and then coming out and having Eric interviewing me, and I just went fucking off on the Magic Cafe. If you ever see that Penguin holiday special, it's like me in full fucking Santa costume, looking at the camera going, what would Eric Tate goes, and what would you like for Christmas, Santa? And I just go, I'd like to burn the Magic Cafe to the fucking ground. The fucking bricks. Like, it was really bad.
That's so good.
And I got a message of Steve Brooks when he saw this. It's like,
Oh no.
he was like, what have you got against the Magic Cafe? And I sent him a message back. I went, one, I was drunk, and two, I've got so much against the Magic Cafe. It's a fucking shithole that literally causes people to kill themselves.
I'm so glad. I'm glad you actually didn't turn around and be like, I actually don't have anything against it.
Oh, no, I did. I
You
actually said to him, I said to him,
fucking-
you literally have a place on the internet that makes people feel so bad about themselves, they want
They
to
want to kill
themselves. Well
Yeah.
done, Steve Brooks. Congratulations.
But a quick point on that, I hate that when somebody says some shit. Well, I mean, you started at that point, but when somebody has like a comment that they'll put, it happens all the time in the fucking comments where they'll go like, dude, you fucking suck, you piece of shit. Fuck you, you fucking short fuck, stupid fucking balding asshole. And then you go, hey, you fat cunt, what are you fucking talking about? And they go, hey man, just kidding, dude, I love your work.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
What? Oh, dude, oh my god, you responded. Oh, dude, I was just kidding. Fuck.
Big fan.
If you just sent like a paragraph, like an entire fucking it's one that you sent me, Lloyd, recently on Facebook that you posted, and then I went and looked through the thread, and it was the same thing, that they're like, oh yeah, look at this. I believe it was on the topic of exposure and all that you just put that video out, and the guy did the same thing to you, I believe, that he's like, yeah, fuck these guys that are showing tricks on YouTube, like Lloyd Barnes and Pig Space Cake and Chris Ramsey and all these other guys. And then you go, well, here's my reason why I think you're wrong. And he goes, hey man, dude, yeah, you're right, dude. Fuck, dude, I love your work. Nah, dude, you were fucking shitting on me a paragraph ago, mate. Where did that energy go, fucker?
My favorite thing in the world, and Penguin were talking to me about this while I was over there, because they've seen me do it like literally twice every Magic Live, and like I do it all the time, is somebody coming over to me at a convention going, oh, Craig, I love your work. You're such a great guy. And I'm like, motherfucker, I've seen you fucking post on the internet talking about how I'm a piece of shit. At least have the fucking balls to take that and say it to my face. Don't call me a fucking fat piece of shit that can't fucking perform his way out of a paper bag on a Facebook forum 2 months ago and then come up and fucking lick my asshole, you stupid, dumb motherfucker. At least have the fucking testicular fortitude. At least have the balls to hold that fucking opinion to the point that when you fucking walk over to me at a convention, you can tell me that I'm a fucking dick. Maybe then I'll have some respect for you. And I call people out doing that all the time. Gaz Lawrence in Blackpool was the most recent. Fuck you.
But maybe they were saying it out of love, like Craig, like, you know, hey guys, Craig Petty is a fucking cunt and he can't perform his way out of a paper bag. And I absolutely adore him. You know, he's one of my favorite YouTubers to watch.
The only person who can insult me, and I know it's meant as a compliment, is you, Lloyd.
Thank you. My first word to you this morning, in the wrong group. That's what it was to my wife. Like,
So stupid.
was wakey, you fucking clown.
So
This is what I'm
stupid.
chicken picnic.
Yeah, I see the message. I'm like this absolute fucking wanker on the fourth floor chat, as opposed to
I
the.
said, Craig Petty, wake up, you cunt.
You know what it is that our chat, yeah,
I
or
was
like
the
fourth
cunt.
floor. It says fourth floor team, right? And then our chat is, you know, it's confusing because you click on it and you go, oh wait, why do we have a fan club for, for this magician? You know, that I don't want to name. It just
Oh,
shits
yeah.
me. Yeah.
That's us, yeah, that's our fucking stupid shit.
Anyway,
That's why.
Well, that's an interesting topic, Craig. I posted a video about it this week. People,
I saw it. I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring it up. And before we do, can I get back to my original
Of course.
point?
I was gonna say, yeah, please before
I
you
really,
forget.
really do want to get to that, but I know people are going to be pissed off if they don't hear my original train of thought. What I was saying is people on the Magic Cafe and Facebook groups, one thing I've heard them say over and over again is, I hate trailers where there's live performances, where not live performances, but where people, you see like lots of clips of people screaming and running away and reacting and you don't see the full trick. All I want is I want a single camera shot of me seeing what the trick is and no other bullshit, no other hype, because then I can make a decision as to whether the trick's worth it or not. What's your opinion as that, as somebody who's one of the best demo makers in the world? Because I spoke to Dalton Wayne about this, who I massively respect as a demo maker, and he's like, you need those reactions on there. It's marketing, it's selling the product. People want to see.
So yeah. So as much as that you'll like the person that complains, because it's normally like one or two, the person that complains about you have to think about the audience you're serving as a majority. And I fucking hate this because the hardest thing in the world, or not the hardest thing in the world, what the fuck am I on about? One of the hardest things that I have to do in my daily life is put a trailer together.
Mm.
It has to have a narrative. Audio choice is super important. Then getting the right footage is really difficult because it's called like what happened to the shot kind of thing. All of this come together. Ultimately, sometimes you gotta. Magic is the weirdest art form in the world. It's the weirdest product industry in the world because you gotta actively sell something and not tell them what they're buying for the most part, because we have to obfuscate the secret. A, because of exposure, and B, sometimes that's exactly what you're selling is the secret, right? So it's such a difficult task to try and balance all of that. And so sometimes you have to use reactions as the proof that this thing works in the real world without saying to them, hey, this is the secret. And if you know the secret, then you know how this is going to work in the real world. But then now you don't want to buy it because the secret's out in the open. You've got to juggle a lot of contributing factors together. On top of the attention span of the modern day audience is through the floor. The next disease after diabetes and the next like sort of global communal disease is going to be attention span diseases, problems to do with there's a lot of talk about ADHD and things now, and I think that's for a different discussion entirely, to be honest with you. But the next like big fucking global tidal wave of something that people are going to want to like drastically try and solve is attention spans. Putting live performances in your main product trailer, where on average it's around 2 minutes and 10 seconds to 2.5 minutes before the trick starts to kick in, or for an average time. So YouTube, you can see the metrics, right? It tells you viewer retention time. On average, a video should be getting, if it's like for example, keep it simple, like a 10-minute video, I think the average retention time is like around 40%, 4 minutes or something, right? For the average viewer. Ideally, for really good channels that tell a story where the story has an ending that you want to listen to, it plays it right at the last second, so it's a 10-minute retention time from the average viewer. With Magic Trailers, if you put a full performance in for the core trailer, yes, you'll be serving it to the people that go, I only want to see a full uncut performance, mainly so I can try and backtrack it. But you won't be getting lots of eyes on it. And it's a shame when you see an artist or you work with an artist on a project that it could be literally their life's work on an effect, right? And it all culminates together towards this piece of marketing, which is a trailer, which marketing isn't a dirty word, right? Because ultimately you're trying to bring a piece of magic that someone's worked on and that other magicians have been asking for into the hands of magicians so they can perform it. So they spend a potential lifetime on an effect, right? You think of all the effects out there that people have worked on for over 10 years that come out, and then it gets it comes to a trailer, and because you want to serve a handful of people that want to just only see a live performance uncut, mainly because they can backtrack it or try to, that nobody watches their trick. And if no one watches the trick and no one watches the trailer, they end up putting all that hard work and effort in for nothing. Like they'll get not negative sales, but they'll get negative earnings on it sometimes. I'm literally seeing, you guys all know, you can probably all name 5 products each off the top of your head that someone's invested over $10,000 in that's never made over 1,000. Right. And 90% of that time, unless it's a truly terrible piece of shit trick, 90% of that time is because it's been really, really badly displayed to magicians. People like think marketing and hype are bad words. It's not so much that. It's like that you're exhibiting your work, and if it's exhibited incorrectly, then all that hard work goes down the drain. Because in magic, we know for a fact, on average, you get a 2 to 6 week shelf life of a product before sales drop off. And if you don't gather the attention, generally, some products every now and then will have a resurgence a year or two later, out of the blue. Very few and far in between. But if you don't get that all eyes on it as soon as possible, that product's essentially dead in the water. So what I tend to do is make a action-packed, fun and exciting trailer that will serve the majority of the audience, that tells you everything about the trick that you can know, that you need to know, and has social proof in it then from the audience's reactions. And then I'll upload a live uncut performance a few days later. I tend to leave it about a week or 2 weeks for the live and uncut performances, because those people generally, a lot of those people really just want to try and work out the secret. Some people genuinely want to see the beats, but a lot of those people that demand the live performances, they are the ones that you see in the back end and in the emails coming through, or the forums and the sales pages. They are the ones that generally try and like get shit for free. So I leave that a week or 2, because by that point people are already behind the scenes discussing the secret with their friends, if they've bought it and they own it, or they've pirated it. And at that point, it's less the value of keeping those live performances under wraps isn't as high anymore.
Yeah.
So I tend to do, but I like the 6 Pro. Realistically, I don't want uncut performances out there. The fact is, from the trailer, you can see that the thing absolutely fucking slays. And it's not designed to fool magicians. It does fool most magicians, but on a second watch, it's not probably going to fool you. It's one of those types of things. But I released it. We've sold, I don't know how ridiculous amounts of units, and now in the live performance got there. So that's my opinions on it. Big Cake, do you have any views?
Yeah, it's retarded. It's retarded because we're humans at the end of the day, and we're prone to the same sort of marketing tactics that work on other products. So to think that we're exempt from that in any way, it's just stupid. And obviously, it's people either trying to backtrack the method, but I always say you're not selling a mattress, you're selling a good night's sleep, and you're selling reactions. The trick is just a vehicle. It's just a novel thing that you're going to latch onto. But at the end of the day, you're selling the reactions that you could potentially get for that trick, which could lead to potential bookings. It could lead to a more social, what do you call this? I hate to use social currency, but or more sort of a heightened social stature based on you being able to perform this. It's a personality in a box. I'm saying all the things from the I was looking at the How to Read Minds kit because my significant other was looking at a video that popped up the other day of the street performances for the kid in Miami. So it's still fresh in my head, all the marketing for that. But to think that you're immune to that, it's like, yeah, let me cater to you and your demand and then provide less of an outcome of sales because of you, and then fuck it up. Like it's stupid. It's asinine. It's sort of the trying to bend over backwards for people, and then once you bend over backwards, they're like, that's not enough. You got to bend further. So it's just a stupid thing to ask.
What I really hate is that, like, as magicians, we know that some of the best tricks in the world aren't going to fool magicians. And if an audience watched it twice, they'd see how it was done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some things that but they might be like your 10,000 hour. You've seen hundreds of magicians slay with it. And it comes to the discussion, or people say, oh, I want to learn this, or can we make this into a product, whatever it's going to be. Comes out as a product, trailer goes up, and or Magic Company will release it, and they'll put an uncut performance up, and you'll see the comments being like, just watch the uncut performance, I can see how that's done. This is trash. And they're watching it being performed, seeing it get fucking amazing reactions over and over and over again, yet they want to trash the product because they, the magician, can figure it out while watching a video that they can replay over and over, and they think it's trash because of that. And I think that is a symptom of the modern world that we're in, because it's like, like they're literally designing movies for Netflix now, writing movies for Netflix now, where large parts of the script are the actor saying what they're doing out loud. So it's a good movie should always show instead of tell.
Yeah,
but because they know that a large part of their audiences are on their phone throughout the movies, they're getting the characters to speak and say what they're doing. So people who are playing on their phones the entire way through the movie will enjoy the movie too.
Dude, and fucking idiocracy.
It's absolute insanity. And I think that we're losing track so badly because of attention spans, or people are not keeping focus on what's important to their audiences so badly. Like, they just think a magic trick is just about this. I don't know. Like,
I had that with Charged Up, by the way, the new trick that I brought out through Alakazam. Like, it's done really well, but like when the trailer went up, we put a full uncut performance in there. And it's designed as a self-working trick that does what it does really well. And the amount of magicians that were like, I see how this works. This isn't going to fool a layperson. And there's like performances in there of, you see reactions of people going, oh my God, this is... No
fucking Void, dude. Void by Lloyd. Dude, same shit. The stupidity of people saying, oh no, this is, dude, you're looking at it on a fucking video. Like, it's not going to be the amount of shit. It's like saying, oh, yeah, no, I saw the top change on the video, dude. It's not going to work on me. Yeah, but it's a live performance, mate. That's not the way magic works. Like, magic, yeah, sometimes it's designed for the television. But if you're watching a trailer that's designed to show you reactions that you're going to get from human beings in the real world, why the fuck are you going to bring in your lens of watching it in a fucking video that you could go and play it in slow motion, frame by frame, and go, oh, man, see, it doesn't make sense because you're opening it up that it's a different way of It's stupid. It's a completely dumb way of going about it. But Craig, Lloyd, you were right about it being a sort of exclusive to Magic, because that doesn't exist in music. That doesn't exist in my world cigars and shit, like things that I purchase. And it's so funny because it's a different animal, but the same beast, because you still approach the same marketing tactics that you would in any other product, whether that's an electronic or whatever the fuck. And you're just catering it to not telling them how the fuck it's done. So it's just an interesting way of approaching it. But
I think part of the problem with that is, and I don't know if it's ego, I don't know what it is, but one thing that I see in Magic all the time is I see on social media and the cafe and places like that, not everybody, but a certain percentage of magicians will like to comment as if they are the ultimate authority on a particular subject and they know what they're talking about and everyone should listen to them. So the example of, well, this won't work in the real world. I see how this works. This won't work in the real world. That's an example. But I've seen fucking people post on places like Magicians Only, and someone's like, oh, I need to get more gigs. How do I get more gigs? And they've gone in there and 5 fucking paragraphs going, well, you need to do this. And I read it. I'm like, that's bullshit. And then I realized that they messaged me 2 months before going, I've got no gigs. Can you help me? How am I supposed to get any gigs? And it's like, you can become an expert without actually offering any proof in on social media. And I think that maybe it's an ego thing, but magicians like to act like they know fucking everything when they comment on something, when a lot of the time they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about.
It's because we are the ultimate charlatans. Magicians are charlatans at the end of the day, and the problem is it's an enabling culture for some people. So, like every spectator that watches a magician, unless you're it's very hard to be a bad magician in the eyes of the audience. It's extremely, extremely difficult for an audience member to watch a magician who completes an effect and that magician be deemed as terrible. Because for the most part, if the layperson can't figure out how it's done, you are good in their eyes. That's why. And so then those magicians will get compliments like, you're the best magician I've ever seen. And it's normally because they're the only magician that person's ever seen, or the other time they've seen a magician, they fucked the trick up. And when people hear those comments, it inflates their ego, and that's good because it helps with confidence. It means they're going to approach more people and things. But you see that then in a minority spill over into the behind the stage, backstage, where they're interacting with other magicians, and now they're still in their head the best magician, but they're interacting with people far more experienced, learned, and actually talented. But maybe that person is eloquent as well, so they could be ham-fisted, they could be terrible performer, but they did complete the invisible deck, which you need 0 skills to do. And you need 0 skills to absolutely destroy someone with that. So then they go into the internet and they start dishing out advice on how to be a better performer because they've been performing this trick. They've been getting great reactions with it. And now they start that, you know what I mean? So it's sometimes they don't even realize that they're not good, is what I'm saying. And I genuinely mean that. The amount of magicians that I know, some people call me like, oh, Lloyd, I just did an amazing gig. And I crushed it. It was fucking amazing. I watched them perform and I think, I'm a bad performer. So I'm saying this like a music reviewer or like a magician who reviews products who doesn't perform. I get to say this knowing that I can't do what they're doing. But I watch them and I go, well, yeah, you completed the effect, or you finished your gig without flashing. Congratulations. But then I get to travel the world and work alongside the absolute, the people who are going to be future grandmasters. And there's fucking levels to this shit, But I don't know. I don't mind those people. I don't mind those people who overinflate their own abilities or believe that they're incredible when they're not, because there's nothing wrong with having belief in yourself. It's only when it spills over online and you start giving out bad advice, thinking you're right.
Yeah.
The best one, I don't know if I told you guys this one. I think I did, but maybe forever ago. I'm not going to say the name, but this person, I saw that they faked correspondence with a gig, and they try to use that as a teachable moment, right? Like, oh, look at this instance where I got sent an email from this person and they undervalued me or whatever. And the thing he posted was fake, like very obviously fake.
I bet I can guess who this is.
Yeah, and then they got a lecture at Blackpool.
Put it in the comments, Big Cake. I want to know who it is.
It's so funny, dude. It is so funny. And I remember, I think I still have a screenshot of the fake bit that's like, it was an email, but the email was not real. Like it was sent from himself. And I'm like, oh.
There's one thing that's really interesting amongst all of this, which is one of the best ways to become better and to learn more yourself is to teach, especially the subject that you want to improve at. So sometimes there's a really interesting, yeah, I know the name. It's not that guy. I was thinking something else. But sometimes there's a really interesting balance between wanting to become better at a subject, so you teach it to become better.
Mhm.
I think the only trouble comes when you try to do it with authority and say that somebody else is wrong when you're still learning that subject yourself.
That's so funny. That's teaching in a nutshell in America, by the way. That's the education. It's like, oh, I don't know this, but I'm gonna pretend like I do, and you're gonna listen to me because of the authority that I've been bestowed by the state of Florida. Oh God, what an absolute fuck. But in Magic, it's so funny because anybody could call themselves a master magician. They could label themselves whatever they want. There's no criteria, there's no standard for it. So you're in a fucking business card, you could say,
are they fourth floor certified or not? That's the standard.
you know. Yeah, but I don't like that little caveat that you had when I try to certify myself, that I have to lick cream off the tip of your dick. Why? What does that have to do with showing you my paddle
because
trick?
It's so long that you couldn't put it. One canister is not going to go the entire length.
Okay.
Is that the question?
Yes. All right. Thank you for answering that. You fucking.
Was the question why off the tip?
No, why do I have to do this to certify my trick? Yeah, it's weird. It's like, okay, I have this brand new take on the Omni deck, and then the end of it, it's like, okay, it has to change magic, it has to do this, and then also I have to lick fucking whipped cream off the tip of Lloyd's cock. I read that in the terms of service.
Yeah, because it says, how bad do you want this?
Oh, I want to make you a star. You know, you're doing the Weinstein approach.
Hashtag me too, due for an Omni deck as well.
That's
I certified him for a joke.
So let's go back to you, Lloyd.
Yes,
that you posted this video.
Can you give us the kind of, for people that haven't seen it, can you give us kind of why you made the video, the point that you were making, so that, you know, give people context?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I've never made this video on my channel about the exposure, because ultimately I teach magic on my channel, and for years I've been waiting for the day that I get cancelled for teaching magic, because I'm a member of the Magic Circle, and they, you know, when they invited me to join up, it was a big thing, because now it's not the rules on teaching magic are a lot more up to date. As before, they were archaic. You know, I think Penn and Teller are even in the Magic Circle now, because at one point they weren't allowed in because apparently what they were doing was bad. But yeah, so I haven't been kicked out yet. Still waiting for the call, because it'd be kind of cool to put a red cross through the little Magic Circle symbol. But I've never wanted to dip my toe into the water of, what's that face for, Piggy?
What do you mean put a cross over the Magic Circle?
Oh, I have the little Magic Circle logo there. It's the horoscope thing. But I was gonna put but I didn't want to put the Magic Circle thing thingy around the quotation writer, so I just put that just in case.
I thought
Anyway,
you were different, Lloyd. I thought you were different. That you weren't gonna be Mr. fucking dice tattoo, card tattoo. Meanwhile, you have the literal fucking magic circle tattooed on
it's
your
a
person.
horoscope. It's the zodiac, you twat. But I would still put a red cross through it.
I have the Magic podcast logo tattooed on my arm, but
Do
mainly,
you?
yeah, but mainly because it's a fucking rabbit eating a fucking skull. That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Oh,
fun.
is it? Okay, maybe I should be I should know the logo of the podcast that I'm now a part of before I judge.
Right. So anyway, I've never got into it. I've always like steered clear of the topic. And I always thought like pretty quickly after starting teaching my own material on there that that I would get shunned from the industry. So I kind of never spoke about it, and then it kind of like never happened. And so anyways, this topic came up and I got tagged in it, which was how does Ekaterina get away with exposing magic? And she just continues to grow. And then someone tagged me and be like, yeah, well, everyone's dogpiling on her, but what about other people like Lloyd Barnes, Pig Cake, and Craig Petty? So I jumped in. I was like, well, let's nip this in the bud quickly. There's a very big distinction between what I do, and I don't watch Ekaterina. I don't even get suggested and stuff. But I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost 99% positive she has definitely taught other people's material without permission.
I don't know what they were criticizing her about with this particular thing was teaching the Mercury card fold. I don't know. I've never watched her material. I don't know her well enough to make that comment. I don't know. All I know is this was about the Mercury card fold. I've seen her teach Crazy Man's handcuffs in the past, which technically isn't hers, but I mean everybody and mother teaches Crazy Man's handcuffs at this point. But I don't know. She might have.
I've seen her teach bread recipes on the fucking shit too. It's like a weird mix of stuff. It's like, oh, here's how to make sourdough. What the fuck?
Well, I'm not gonna accuse her of it then, because I don't think that'd be very fair. I thought a while ago that someone shared a video of her complaining that she was teaching like a fairly modern effect that definitely wasn't hers. If she hasn't taught other people's material without permission, then strike this off the record.
Well, define other people's material. Like what would be the limit for you? Like, for example, if she goes and says, "Oh, here's how you could do credit crunch."
Yeah, it's other people's material.
Okay, all right. But if it's like,
that point, bitch is going down.
But I think people were just bitching in general that she's showing magic as a whole. Like she's just like, here's the JW grip. You know, like that whole thing.
Yeah, and it's also I know she does it in like short form content, which is designed to hit lay people's algorithm. So I came in and said, look, basically this is my stance on it. I only teach my material that I create, and because that's ownership. And I said that's like people who you can't accuse me of pirating or stealing or exposing my own material. It'd be like condemning a book author for reading their own book on YouTube. It's my material. I get to choose it. In terms of protecting the secret, I do that by making my videos long and boring and hard to sit through if you're not a magician, because it's so it would be literally 100 times easier for me to turn my content into shorts. It would save me not just hours and days, it would save me months of time through my year. Also, I would earn a literal 1,000 times more. You guys know, you guys all know the channels out there. You literally know the people who run channels that serve shorts to lay people exposing magic. That's like 100,000, 200, and in some cases $500,000 plus income a year. Look at Justin Flom, millions a year. I know that I am losing so much fucking money by making my content very difficult to watch if you're a layperson. And it costs me months of my time every year, and I'm losing money on it. But I'm not ever going to be an exposure artist. I can't say artist with that word. I'm not going to be an exposure clown. not fair. It's not right. I love magic. I love teaching magic. YouTube is the modern day library. As much as some magicians are archaic and want you to believe that, well, if they can't learn it from a book or they're not paying for the secret, it's like, nah, fuck off. Unfortunately, YouTube's the modern library. And nowadays, the next set of grandmasters, a lot of them are getting their start off YouTube because it is the modern day library. So as long as you, and the other factor is this, and I'll bring it to a close, which is, for me personally, so much of my magic gets exposed because of the type of magic that I create. So a lot of it's visual, it's snappy. So, or it's like product worthy. So I would perform a trick. Maybe I perform it on Instagram, or I perform it at a convention, or I perform it anywhere. I just perform it on a YouTube channel, and then it'd be exposed. And one of the fucking exposure clowns would be profiting, not only profiting from it, but also exposing the secret to lay people on purpose by making short form content directed into the algorithms of people who aren't interested in magic or are interested in studying magic. So I came to this conclusion a couple of years ago, which was, if they're going to learn my magic anyway, they may as well learn it correctly and ethically with my consent from the person who fucking created it. You know, if there's no putting the feathers back into the pillowcase, at least the control the direction of the wind.
Yeah.
And yeah, so all that, but and obviously there's still some people that think that they should be behind a paywall, and that makes it ethical. That means, because I don't know, and some of the points I agree with as well. Yeah, so that's kind of my views on it, and it's 2026, so I was really expecting it to go down badly, but 99% of people are switched on and with it.
I'm trying to find a comment here, by the way, that you left your fucking dissertation response that you put here on Facebook. I can't find it. Fuck. But yeah, I think that's bang on, man. I think that's the right approach. But it's such a weird argument because it's always been an argument in Magic. Like then whatever is a new form of media, that's what they latch onto and say that this is going to ruin it, and this is sort of exposing it to the lay audience. But then why don't you shit on Penguin for teaching 5 tricks for free when you sign up to their mailing list? Or why don't you shit on, Vanishing Ink when they do the same shit? It's like it's so easy to target.
Your camera's frozen.
Is it? That's great. That's fine. It's what if that I'm just
I
frozen?
just thought he was practicing his ventriloquism act.
Oh, fuck off.
With my videos, right? So one thing the people who still refuse to believe that or refuse to change, because the sign of somebody of a low intelligence is somebody who's not willing to change their opinion. And there are some people who will not get down off that, will not change their ways. You know, some people who still probably beat their wives and kids. But the thing that some people also really fail to grasp is that it's so to get people's attention on like social media, to attain retention views, like those numbers. It's not physical, but it's a metaphorical fight for that attention. You can't pay people who are not interested in Magic to watch your videos. You hear of some content creators. I know of some really big fucking players in the game. Probably the biggest Magic YouTuber, or was, literally got their first few 100,000 subscribers and big views by paying for them. You cannot get people to sit down and subscribe to your channel and watch your content if they're not interested. So for me, if you notice the format of my tutorials, right, is I'll perform the trick, I'll give an intro, I'll talk about something related to Magic in the intro, then I'll start to show you the build of the gimmick, and then I'll teach how the effect works. And normally it's around the 5-minute mark, I start teaching how the method comes together. That is the dumbest fucking way to produce that video if I want to get views. It's the worst way to produce that video to get views.
Best way would be to literally hold the gimmick, exposing it in the first second, and go, "This is going to make this happen," or something like that.
Yeah. Literally, the best way to do it is in reverse. is the complete opposite direction of that. And I know that it's to my own debt. It's to my own. It's detrimental to me. Well, in a sense, it's detrimental to me if I was looking for profits and big fucking views to do it that way. I'm very, very highly aware of that. However, it gives me integrity. I can hold my head up high as an artist.
The irony
Like
is
doing
a
it
lot
this
of
way.
magicians don't get that. So Andrew Niner posted your video on Magicians Only. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
He posted your video on Magicians Only. And somebody who replied, and by the way, I'd like to point out that I think he's wrong, but I massively respect him, and I've gone on record as saying that I'd do anything for this man, is Russ Stevens. We all know Russ.
Yeah, because he said people
Well,
don't teach their own
I'll
brand
take
new
it to
plots.
publish one's own ideas for free, and it's often used as a justification in defense of people like Penn and Teller, and many others are exposers of magic. They're their creation, so it's up to them what they decide to do with them. Here's the thing: nearly all of these routines and effects that these people consider theirs to expose all use principles and methods that they didn't create. They're not theirs to give away, and their justification falls completely flat. Simple, really. And then somebody says, any way you look at it, Russ, it's all about money. And Russ comes back and says, of course it is. I'd respect all of these exposers a little more if they were more honest about their real reasons. It's all about the money.
Yes, wrong.
I've seen the post now. God, what a fucking Sistine
Yeah.
Chapel stupidity.
It's way too generalized, and especially for the stuff that I create and share. And also, I'm for all the reasons above. I'm literally making content designed to be boring, only to serve it to the magic industry. I could just do shorts and make 10x the amount and get 10 times the following.
It's a
But
fucking
I think he's right to an extent. I just don't belong in that category.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, look at this. What a wondrous fucking set of technology I have here. But
You're so fucking stupid for cake.
what I was gonna say is, did it bother you looking through all those sort of channels as to the fucking brain dead, brain rot, retardation that they have to subject themselves to get attention? Right? Like, I don't know if you noticed that when you see, like, for example,
But
that
then I'm doing all the faces like,
they cannibalize each other. How retarded is that? So you'll have one guy. My favorite one is the guy with his like hot girlfriend that they'll do the trick and then she'll fucking like expose it, like those I think the Chinese people did that sort of bit first, where one of them does the trick and then the other one exposes it, but this guy does it with his like attractive girlfriend, so it makes sense. But what somebody will do is that he'll take that video, chop off the explanation, and then tag on his own explanation. But it's like, you just cut the video of the guy exposing it to begin with to add your it's the golden ratio of retardation is present in there just because they're exposing each other. So these same accounts are cannibalizing each other, and it's so funny. It's so fucking funny to watch.
did you see the guy who was complaining that another exposure channel had ripped off the format and the tricks that he was exposing, although they weren't his to expose? And it was like, oh, it's fucking majestic, bro.
You know what it reminds me of? I go through the rabbit hole often of like psychics on TikTok, and it is the funniest rabbit hole you've ever fell into, where it's people that just realize that the wind works. It's like low IQ retards. So they'll get a piece of foil, the most dainty thing imaginable, and then they'll do this like that, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm channeling my key to tip this thing over. I'm practicing my telekinesis." And then they're tipping over this piece of foil, and then here's how you could do it too, and they're teaching you. And then one of them, it's like a mom teaching her kid, so you know that kid's gonna grow up to be a fucking model student. And what's great is that you have psychic channels that are exposing other psychics as to how they're not real. So it's like, oh, here's what to look out for. That's a fake psychic. And it's like, if they're being too general, it's like, well, mate, you're the same shit. You're the fucking same shit. You're putting lipstick on a pig and calling it something else. That's not the way it works. So it's like they're cannibalizing each other. Yeah, fuck. If you put lipstick on me, that's not going to make me look, any more fuckable. So it's just so funny. I don't know if you ever seen these, but dude, if you have
Yeah,
just
it's so terrible.
dude, it's there's airbenders, which is my favorite one. That's you know, you have these guys in wife beaters and they're going in the like in front of a river and they're like pretending to move the wind and then the wind picks up and it's like, oh yeah, I'm channeling my energy to bend the fucking air. It's like, bro, you are on crack. And it is the funniest thing to watch.
Do you know what I find very interesting though? Is I do think that it's naturally showing us a new path in Magic, in that every like couple of generations, Magic will evolve, right? So you look at like Daddy ripping off the fucking chicken's head. That was what Magic used to be like, right? Then it goes up into I don't know, like Street Hustlers back in the day when there's paintings of like 3 shell games on street corners.
Mhm.
And then the vaudeville era and the magicians on stage like battling each other or whatever, Robert Houdano, all this type of stuff. And it evolves and the natural progression. I don't know if it's natural progression, but sometimes it's yeah, it's sort of a new path of Magic will carve naturally. And I think the like with Blaine doing Street Magic then changed the course of Magic 100%, changed the style of Magic without unquestionably. And I think I think, and I haven't seen anyone talk about this before, and it's only like occurred to me, and I'm probably last man on the totem pole pointing this out. I just haven't heard it being discussed yet. But I do think that we are coming into a new era of Magic that's been where the direction's been shown to us by our audience. In that gimmicks aren't going to cut it in the real world so much anymore. So gimmicky magic tricks like bitten and restored coins type of thing, right? Although they will fly, they will do well. However, there is a over saturation of exposing gimmicks in that, like, there's flashy little, like, you know, the silk through foam gimmicks and my Acme hole, one of the most popular ones out there. There is an overabundance of that online that is being served to lay people thanks to these exposure clowns who fucking point him in shorts. When it comes to performing in the real world, they're probably not going to get the reactions, or the people may not be as inclined to suspend their belief as much as they once would because of being exposed to them. If they tend to see that stuff in their algorithm, all my algorithm is literally turtle toys and pizzas. I'm not joking. So
That's right.
but it means that the type of magic that will do well in the real world is more performance art, or not performance art, is more is less gimmicky, less visual, not less visual because a lot of it's ungimmicked. But you know what I mean? I think that prevalence of gimmicks potentially is going to not be as awful, and people are going to be focusing more on like performance type magic, which sounds ridiculous to say, obviously, but it's harder to expose something or serve lay people the secret of Out of This World, for example, in a short, than it is to expose the secret of an Acme Hole gimmick.
I agree. I completely agree with you. One thing I will say though is a lot of the short form content, people forget it. Unless they're really into Magic, people forget it.
Yeah,
like
great point.
I've scrolled through fucking Instagram and I can't remember what I did it this morning while I was waiting for a taxi. I can't fucking remember what I looked at. And I looked at some Magic and I can't fucking remember what I looked at. No, most average lay people, when they're scrolling it, if they see a Magic trick because it's like a really popular video, it's just going to pop up. They're going to see it. And then they're going to scroll on something else and something else and something else. And they won't remember it. And if people do remember it, it's because they're into Magic and they're interested in it and they want to learn more. Like about 6 months ago, I was on a show. And I was doing a show at an event, and there were 3 close-up magicians, and there was me, and I was doing a stage show. And I was speaking to them beforehand as I was setting up my set, and somebody saw a vanishing ball, and they said, "What are you doing with that?" I'm like, well, "I'm performing it in the show. I'm opening with it. I'm opening with vanishing ball." And they were like, "Why? You can't do that anymore." I'm like, "Why not?" And they went, "Oh, it's been exposed to death on the internet." I'm like, yeah, but nobody fucking remembers that because they're just doom scrolling in the middle of the night. They're not going to remember that fucking vanishing bottle. And even if they do, they won't fucking put two and two together and think it's got anything to do with what I'm doing, because it's all layered with presentation and jokes and presentation and jokes and so on and so forth. And if anybody does remember it, it means they care enough because they want to learn magic, in which case, more power to them. And they were like, well, I think you're wrong. And I'm like, well, I've been using that as a fucking opener for the last 10 years and I'm not going to change now, dickhead. And I went out on stage and I did my show and I did my opening bit with the vanishing bottle, fucking brought the audience down. Everyone loved it. And you know, they thought you can't do the vanishing bottle anymore because of this. So I agree with what you're saying in one respect. But in the other respect, I think that, like, with short form content, people just don't fucking remember it. It's almost like a dopamine hit. It's almost like, right, I'm looking through all of this shit. I'm not taking it all in. It's just like eye candy, and it's not to remember any one particular thing.
There's another, it's a really good point that you made there. And one of the things that I do in my lecture is I show a bill change, and I say objectively, like, this bill change isn't the best one in the world, or depending on your views on it. But in one respect, it is, and it's not because of how it looks or that I created it. Like, so maybe just I'm biased, but I say in the lecture, how many of you have seen, formed, or own Extreme Burn? Right, like, as always, like 90% of the audience this puts up, right? Because everyone. But I say, but my worst fear, one of my worst fears as a magician, is that I perform a trick because of my style of magic is very, like, organic, like, supposed to feel impromptu. Is that I perform a piece of magic, right? And it's all like built around this, like, atmosphere of, like, oh, I've got nothing ready, I don't know what to do, and it's like just spur of the moment. I perform something like Extreme Burn, and they go, oh my god, that's amazing, I loved it when I saw Dynamo do that. Oh, I loved it when I saw a guy on TikTok doing that. Oh my god, that's so cool. That one with the cross on the hand is just like the best. I can't believe I just got to see it live. That is a cross to a vampire for me. That is sunlight or a fucking vampire's skin. So the reason why I say my build change is the best in the world, it's not because it's the best in the world. It's because it's mine and no one else is doing it. So they're not going to ever experience. They're not going to ever be able to tell me that they've seen it before. So I'm serving them a unique experience, which they feel in that moment was spontaneous and organic and spur of the moment for real. And I think that's such an important thing, is that you watch all these exposes on TikTok. And this is what I thought was good about The Masked Magician. And certain elements of this, when, like, Polymer came into bills in the UK, it's phenomenal when general big popular tricks gets exposed in one sense, right? I'm not saying it's good for the artist or anything, but it does make a lot of lazy shit fucking artistically uninspired magicians shit or get off the pot. And what I mean is, like, my Acme Hole trick is one of the most performed, exposed tricks on all these social media channels, right? I came up with the calculator trick, Cypher, years ago. Now there's 20,000 fucking versions of it. When shit like this happens, change it. The version I do of Acme Hole now is nothing like the fucking version that 10 million people know the secret to.
I agree.
The apps that I use now and create now are nothing like those ones.
Acme Hole is a perfect example. Like, right, that's been exposed. Would you say, like, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, that was exposed to everybody? Like, they've been exposed to that on social media for years. And yet Killian O'Connor went on Britain's Got Talent with that exact same trick, but with a jumbo card, got a standing ovation, got 4 yeses from the judges, and won the hearts of the nation. And he literally opened with that trick. And there's
an argument to be said there that, again, this is why Penn and Teller are the best. The method doesn't matter as well.
It doesn't. I went to a gig not too long ago, about a month ago. I went to a wedding. I was performing at a wedding, and I went over to this table, and I was like, "Hey, I'm the magician," and they were like, "Oh, hey, Alan, show him your trick, show him your trick, show him your trick." And there was a sweet old man there, and he pulled out a little red handkerchief, pushed it in his hand, made it disappear like that, and he did it quite well, actually. And everyone was like, "Oh, Alan, that's the only trick he does, but he does it really well. We don't know how it's done." I was like, "Yeah, that's great, mate. That's really good." And the first trick I did was a $100 bill switch. And Alan was just looking at me like I was fucking God. And it was literally the same method that he just used there, that he'd obviously been doing for years. And I used exactly the same thing. And I you know, because I knew
Yeah.
it wouldn't make any difference.
But
Because
but you did the right thing there, right? Because you took something that he was aware of the secret of, and you changed you changed its skin, you changed the color of it, you changed the clothes it was wearing, and that's what I mean. Is that these magicians were like, oh right, fucking so and so, like I'm a victim of all the exposers, but oh they fucking exposed my this now, and that means I can never do it again. Cool. Change it up a bit. Like people complain that Copperfield just did the same show over and over and over, and they complain that he was on autopilot and looked bored throughout it. But if he had changed, and I don't say he didn't, but you know, if he was forced to change his show and do a completely brand new show for whatever reason, maybe it'd be exposed or burnt down in a fucking warehouse fire, I don't think he'd look like he was on autopilot again. He'd be fucking reinvigorated and fresh and excited. So, you know, as I can say this as a victim of the exposers, it's not artistically, it can be a good little kick up the arse.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Yeah.
it's almost like, yeah, go on.
I was going to say Craig nailed it. Craig had sex with it and nailed it well, just because it ties in. Okay, all right. I never want to see that ever again. But it's we all are human, right? So we all have the same sort of tendencies that everybody else has, despite our mastery of the virgin arts. So when it comes to consuming media, right? We consume media in the same way that most people do, which is you keep scrolling, you watch it, and then you move on. So, for example, let's say within music, right? You're scrolling through and you see a tutorial on how to play fucking Smoke on the Water or whatever fucking song. So as you're you're not going to remember that. It's just going to be something that's passing. So if you happen to pass by and scroll through somebody showing a fucking magic trick, odds are you're not going to remember that because of not only our attention span being shit, but our memories also being fucking shat on constantly, just because we're getting so much information constantly. So nobody's going to give a shit. So granted, yeah, it's lame and it's retarded and you look like a low IQ idiot with a purple background showing how to do a bite coin trick. And, you know, it's cringe, but it's not going to ruin the art form. There's no need to have a thread with 200 comments going back and forth saying, oh, yeah, any exposure. Like here, I was reading Mark Lewis writing about that, but he's kind of hardcore. It's so stupid and asinine to think that that's going to affect anything. That's going to affect your livelihood. It's absolutely stupid because nobody's going to fucking remember that. And especially considering they're just looking for that next dopamine hit of, oh, yeah, that's funny. Or let me look for this or let me look for that. It's, I think in psychology, the term is Ebbinghaus, the Ebbinghaus curve, that your, without practice, your memory of any given subject reduces by like 80% unless you have that practice. So unless you're constantly being exposed to that magic of, you know, I guess algorithm of just exposure videos, you're not going to retain any of that. It's just going to be passing knowledge. Oh, I remember seeing something similar. Okay, well, let me show you something that's going to fucking blow your mind. You're going to blow your load at this one. And they're only able to sort of contextualize based on what they've been shown. So there's that old adage of if you make a red silk vanish in a thumb tip, don't know that it's a thumb tip. But if you make a yellow silk vanish, they don't know how the fuck it works, which I don't agree with. But you said it to that point where you could absolutely molest somebody that has knowledge of a thumb tip using the thumb tip, and they'll have no idea as to how the fuck. And it's just the same thing because their knowledge is limited. They have only the knowledge of what they've been exposed to, which is bullshit. So you could show the Mercury card fold, right? Oh, here's how to do the Mercury card fold. They don't have the context for that. They don't know what it's going to be used in. They don't know, for example, you could show somebody that video of the Mercury card fold and then within 20 minutes show them mini book, right? The trick with the laptop that it changes into the fucking thing, or the matchbook trick that David Blaine performed. Yeah, any of that. And they won't have a fucking clue because there's no contextual knowledge for them to go and go, they don't fucking know. Dude, they're watching magic tricks. They're already retarded.
You're right.
You know, I think that sort of surmises what I think a true magician should be and be able to do, in that this whole the will the sphere of like magic that we're in now is that so many magicians need to get their asses wiped for them. Whereas, and I can't say that I lived in those times, so I'm kind of potentially speaking out of place here. But in my head, a magician should be the master of his craft. So, like, if I have a prop that breaks, I'll fix it. I should be able to fix it. I should be able to make my own magic tricks. I should be able to adapt. If I read something in a book and like I can't classic palm, I have extremely dry hands, right? I can't classic palm coins and cards very well. The first time I ever read about those methods, I just adapted and used different techniques instead of complaining and being like, oh well, my hands are too. I've never. I can't. I'll probably be called up and someone will show me a comment and expose me like Kevin Hart at the Oscars from like 20 years ago. But I can't really recall any moment in my life where I've expressly complained about like an effect or a method or something where it couldn't be solved with just a bit of tinkering or putting a bit of fucking a band-aid on it or using a different palm that suited my style a bit more. And I think we are so overly cautious or conscious to making sure that magicians are like they're given their supper, their tea, they have their arse wiped, and they're tucked into bed through every step of the process when it comes to learning a magic effect. And I really don't think that's teaching them to be magicians. I think you should be the master of your craft. So, like, I can't imagine that, years ago you read about those battles between magicians on stage. One would create an effect, and then the other one would open up shop across the street and be like, okay, his effect works like this, so I'm gonna show you how it's really how a real magician would do it. And you'd have like these sort of fucking wizard wars and stuff. That's not how I don't think magic should be like these days. But I think if you want to be a magician, you should be able, like, for example, the Masked Magician comes out and exposes the Zigzag Lady. Fucking terrible, right? It's a really bad thing for magic in general. But if I'm a magician, if I'm a real magician, and obviously I'm going to complain about it if it's one of the if it's part of my show, and the Zigzag Lady was in my act and it gets exposed on national television, I'm going to be pissed off. They're well within their rights to be fucking angry about it. However, I also think that those magicians should then go, well, there's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. Can't be unfucked. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Like Penn and Teller, for example, way ahead of the curve because they paint it red. They go, this is the fucking secret, but look how cool it is. And then they do show you some stuff which can't be explained because they're their creations, right? And they're not because, like, arguably a lot of those tricks that are exposed by the Masked Magicians were being sold, right? Yep. But you look at like some of the Penn and Teller illusions, like the goldfish, his silhouette, the fucking bin bag. They ain't selling those tricks as far as I know. People, right? And they ain't getting exposed as readily. So for me, if like, for example, if I was doing a touring stage show or a weekly stage show and at the height of the Masked Magician coming out, the Zigzag Lady gets exposed, yeah, I'd be pissed off and I'd want to fucking speak to the manager for about an hour. But then I'd be like, right, okay, how do I make this work now? And I would get to fucking work. I'd roll my sleeves up. I'd roll my brain sleeves up. And I would just look at options. I'd start getting to work. That's what a magician, that's what every single one of us who is passionate about magic, there's no such thing as I can't create. That's bullshit. Everyone can create, because whether you create a method or you create a script or you create an environment to perform in, every one of us creates. So you can't say I can't create. I don't know how to create. Fuck off. Just, it's a muscle. Matthew Beach emailed me like 20 years ago and said creativity is a muscle. None of us start off being creative. You just got to exercise it and it grows.
Yep.
Overcome it. Just fucking work on it. Read a method in a book and you can't do one part of it, or your hands literally can't make that shape. Cool. Use a different method. Add it in. Don't complain to the author.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's magicians. It's magicians.
Completely
That's
agree.
the livelihood.
A few weeks ago, Thea came up to me and she went, I want to do magic with a Rubik's Cube. Can you suggest which gimmicked cube I should take from the warehouse to practice? And I was like, Fuck no, bitch. Here's a Rubik's Cube. Learn how to fucking solve the cube. Because once you've learned how to solve a cube, right then, you're going to be able to perform a million other tricks. And now she can solve a cube in 45 seconds. But if I'd have just gone, yeah, take the Venom cube, that'll be nice and easy for you, she never would have had that skill.
Mm-hmm.
I have an
I
unpopular
understand that
opinion.
Okay, go.
I have an unpopular opinion, right?
Go.
I understand that Rubik's Cube magic is visual and fantastic and interesting for any person because most people have attempted to solve a Rubik's Cube. And when you do it in a fraction of a second, they go, oh, what the fuck? But let me tell you, all right? And I say this with the conviction of an absolute fucking retard, right?
Look how puckered his arsehole is to say this. I'm ready, Pig Cake. My nipples
I
are fucking pointy.
Fucking hate Rubik's Cube magic. I'm sorry, all right? Because imagine the magician's kit in 2026, right? You open up your little silver attaché case. You have about a dozen decks of cards labeled with what gimmick they are, invisible deck, right? Whatever the fuck. You have 27 Sharpies. You have your little sponge balls that are just freshly douched, all right? And then now you have a slot in that attaché kit that you would have cut out specifically for your fucking Rubik's Cube. Your Rubik's Cube. It used to be like a joke. It's like, oh, look at the nerd with the Rubik's Cube. And now we're the nerds, thanks to Steve Brundage, with the fucking cubes, because people are out here being able to solve them with one hand because it's like a...
Can I add a caveat to this, though?
Okay, go ahead.
I also fucking hate Rubik's Cube magic.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a handful of effects where it's because when they just solve them quickly, oh, and it's solved, oh, and it's solved, and then they spend a minute before they do the quick solves showing how fast they can move them anyway. It's like, well, you've got fast hands. There are certain clever, creative presentations for Rubik's Cube magic, which is magic, where it doesn't matter. For example, like the Rubik's Cube in jar. Kieran Johnson does signed Rubik's Cube in a glass jar. That the Rubik's Cube is the properties of the Rubik's Cube are not essential to that effect. It just happens to be this is a fucking awkward object that can't fit in a jar. But when it's like the fast solves and I can throw it up in the air and then it solves and I can do this, I fucking hate that shit because it's just normally attributed to look how fast his hands are. But if it's like a piece of magic, which like the Rubik's Cube could be exchanged for something else, then I'm happy. Then I'm okay with that.
Dude, I disagree. I think Rubik's Cube magic is unbelievably visual. It's amazing. It's fucking... Oh, look, you mixed it and it matches the one that you mixed, right? It's crazy. But you look like a mentally ill virgin. I'm sorry. If you're out here in a fucking... You take it out. All right. Hey, guys, I'm at the pub. Could you just... take that Rubik's Cube and mix it in whatever way you want? I'm going to mix mine here. Great. They match. Bro, come on. Come on, man.
But it's really hard to hold that argument to hold any water when you are taking out a pink deck of playing cards.
I don't take out a pink deck of playing cards, my friend. All right. I'm not in a pub taking out a pink deck of playing cards. I go, hey, let me take that pink deck of playing cards.
Your gun has googly eyes on it.
Yeah, because you know, all right, the last thing you're going to see as you see the smoke from my pistol are two fucking googly eyes looking at you. So I'm a hypocrite because I'm saying that it's awful just that you're now carrying a Rubik's Cube. It's like, it's what you used to get bullied for in the 80s and 90s, and now you're carrying it, and it's...
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Go on. I get where you're coming from. Two things. One of the strongest things I do, and also one of the strongest things I've seen almost anyone do who does this, including Ryland, who closes his act with this, is Michael Murray's solution, the behind the back solve, where a spectator takes a cube where they know that it's mixed, it's normal Rubik's Cube, and it solves behind their back. It is a genuinely incredible moment because everyone knows how hard it is to solve a cube, and everyone is aware of what a cube is. And this person, not you, but they are doing it behind their back themselves. That's a really strong moment that I don't think can be replicated very easily with anything else.
Unbelievable. Actually, just a little tidbit here. Do it with a Triumph and an invisible deck. Aha. and it works out well. You could have a
No,
new
I
card where they mix the
He
decks.
thinks he's cooking. He thinks he's cooking.
No, I published that like
He's using a fucking
12 years ago,
microwave.
but yeah. I
Did
agree.
you?
Yeah, on Visible, the project with 1914. Yeah, and Steve Bedwell got there 10 years before me as well. But anyway, the cue ball is another one that I think it's visually fucking.
Where's my gun? Where's my gun?
It's probably looking at you with his googly eyes. What I would say is it's fine carrying a cube around in context. So Ryland does a lot of cube magic in his show. He's a 13-year-old kid. He can bring out a cube and talk about how this is a toy, and it absolutely makes sense. This is one of his favorite toys. This is one of his favorite things. That's the first point. And me, I do magic, but I'm 50, and I talk about how I started doing this in the 80s when I was a kid. And it makes sense because that's when it started. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think you're underplaying how big cubing is these days. Like, if you've ever been to a speed cubing convention, there are fucking 10 times more people at a speed cubing convention than there are at fucking Blackpool. Like, they are massive. Competitive speed cubing. I've been to a couple of them with Ryland, and they are fucking ridiculous how popular it is.
How do they react to magic? Cube.
I've actually done it, and they kind of have a rough idea of how it's done because they understand algorithms. They understand.
No. If you show them like a piece of magic with a Rubik's cube, there's a difference between fast solves and magic, right? Like, so it's like a cube and bottle,
like, well, Ryland did
Venom cube or something.
Ryland did a show for a bunch of speed cubers, and he put in their cube wall. He did a blindfold cube solve, which was he was legitimately solving the cube, but he had a direct vision blindfold on. So, but they didn't realize that. They thought he was actually solving the cube blindfolded. He was doing like Venom cube and stuff like that, which is still the best cube matching effect that there is. I don't think anything touches Venom cube. And they were freaking out about it because they couldn't see how that stuff's done. But if you just mix up a cube yourself and then take it and solve it with one hand, they fucking know what's going on there.
Yeah, and I think largely that's what the audience thinks as well. That's why for years I've held the stance of I fucking hate Rubik's cube magic because also the funny thing is this, because my grandfather taught me how to solve a Rubik's cube when I was a kid, when I was 5. So I used to go to school and just solve the Rubik's cube over and over, and that's kind of just fucking impressive anyway. When you do it a little bit quicker, it's diminishing returns almost. That's why I've always been opposed to just doing like, oh, I know it's solved with one hand. It's like, well, dude, because we live in this little weird world where we're kind of accustomed to these objects. Most people, if they see Rubik's cube can be solved, they kind of go fucking ape shit anyway. But if you do magic with it, that's the caveat that I've added on in my like older, more relaxed years that Pigcake will get to when he throws like 3 to 4 more inches in height. Is that if you do magic with it? So
I can only wish.
Sorry, but when you do magic with it, which is like where it's just the object of the cube, if you could substitute the object and it's still the same magic effect, then to me, I think that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I started by saying I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong because it's an industry within our industry to have Rubik's cube magic, and it's visual and it's easy to understand because everybody has tried to solve this piece of shit. And it's difficult. And then you're doing even the solves. I kind of disagree with that. I think even to solve with one hand is fucking impressive. So then when you're putting it in a bag and you take it out and then you crump the bag because they think that you're switching, that in itself is fucking magic. But unfortunately, what I'm saying is the fact that we've added this thing in the past, I would say decade, because it became really popular maybe 10 years ago is when it actually.
Well, the godfather of cube magic is a guy called Takemizu Sui. And he's the one that Brundage based all of his techniques on. But the thing that kind of brought it more into popularity was Murphy's bringing out Cube 3 with Brundage, and at the same time he went on Penn and Teller and he went on America's Got Talent, and he's the guy that kind of propelled it into mainstream popularity, I think.
Pigcake, I think I might know what the issue is with cubing. For you, potentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I am. I think your issue with cubing may lie with the fact that so many magicians shoehorn it into their set. for example, right? I don't know. I love Ninja Turtles. You know, I'm obsessed with Ninja Turtle shit. I always like, talk about it in wearing my Ninja Turtle watch. I love Ninja Turtles. If any of my friends
fucking
see
know.
me, oh, okay. I do. I'm obsessed with Ninja Turtles. I have been my whole life. I got fucking figures of them, posters of them, all of like literally everywhere. Love it. If any one of my friends see me something to do with Ninja Turtles, whether it's a T-shirt or a watch, fucking Ninja Turtle action figure, wouldn't bat an eyelid. They would be like, and if I didn't match with it, it would be pretty fucking crazy. However, if I was like, oh guys, I didn't know if you know this about me, but I am absolutely obsessed with door hinges. Like it's one of my obsessions. You know, do you know there are 17,000 different brands of door hinge? They can be made out of brass. You can guess that they're made out of iron. The old days you'd make them out of clay. Anyway, watch what I do with this door hinge. If I thread string through 4 sides of it and then tie a knot, and then I can fucking drop a ring on it, and it'd be like, what the fuck? It's obviously just forced into my act. So what I think potentially the problem is with so many magicians is that it's disingenuous. That like when Stephen Brundage went on Penn and Teller and AGT, you could tell that guy was obsessed with Rubik's cubes. It was a large part of his identity as an adult. For me, at least outside of magic, my identity to people that know me is like fucking Ninja Turtles and filming my camera stuff. Like obviously my family, but you know what I mean? Like, so anything to do with that realm isn't weird for people to see me talk about and use. So potentially a lot of problems that at least maybe it is, that they just shoehorn it in. It's like, okay, so look at this Rubik's cube. Huh? Isn't that cool?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm again. I started by saying I'm wrong because I know that it's something that we're same thing with sponge balls. Same thing with the argument that I have, which is if you're in fucking like a social situation and you take out these dingy fucking red sponges from your pocket, that immediately people are gonna go, "What the fuck did you just hand me?" But I know that the moment you fucking open your hand and there's none, and then they open up their hand and there's 2, that they're gonna fucking probably spontaneously ejaculate all over themselves. That's the absolute worst part because I know that I'm more upset that I thought I was clever coming up with this little triumph routine with this fucking slop shuffle and then the solution. And then you find out that fucking Craig had it as a fart on a fucking project 10 years ago. That's the part that I'm more upset about. I hate magic for that reason. You think you're clever, and then turns out Craig Petty came up with it fucking 20 years ago. Fuck you, Craig.
You're amazing, Big Cake.
Steve Bedwell.
Steve Bedwell.
What?
Shake and bake, 1980s.
It's such the solution is, I love those sort of like those bits in magic where you find something like that. Like the solution is one. I don't know if you know what I'm like, if you kind of get what I mean, but like that feel of method where it's like, it's such an obvious thing, but it's so clever. Turville is another one I think that has that same sort of feeling where it's like what somebody wrote ends up being the prediction that somebody else reads out. That those I love that as a solution in magic. I'm kind of obsessed with finding those. That might be my tism, but it's so clever. Fucking Michael, did I tell you? I told you my bridge story with Michael Murphy. I think I have that.
Michael Murphy?
No, sorry.
Michael Murray.
Michael Murray. That.
No, what's the bridge story?
We were in Newcastle, and I'm like, dude, I got off the train and I'm obsessed because there's nothing but like hot girls here in Newcastle. And then I've been in. Somebody forgot to pay the light bill.
I have no idea. I think my electrician just turned I got an electrician working on the pool.
Of course you do. You always have somebody
putting LEDs around it and an LED light strip, and I think he's just turned off the box. Oh,
what are you shooting porn? Oh, nice. What the fuck was I saying? And I'm now upset that your set
bridge story, hot girls everywhere. You were saying.
Oh yeah. Then in Newcastle, I'm like, man, I want to see the bitches. And then Michael, we're going around from like bar to bar, and then he's explained to me architecture, right? How beautiful. Like, oh yeah, this building was built then, and he starts talking about bridges. And this bridge was from 19 whatever the fuck, and this bridge was from 17. And then finally, he shows me one more bridge, and I'm like, bro, why are you fucking showing me bridges? And he goes, isn't that what you wanted to see? I thought he was like dumb because he showed me bridges. He thinks that I'm dumb because I'm like, I want to see the bridges. I want to
You
see the
said bitches.
and then I told him I meant bitches, dude. I said bitches, and it was just a miscommunication, and it was so funny because we both, at some point, as he showed me bridges, I'm thinking, "Wow, this guy's fucking nuts. Why is he showing me all these bridges?" He thinks that I'm crazy because I'm, I'm like,
It's hilarious.
yeah. And then at the end, I tell him that.
Story of all time.
It's funny. Jacob, I was with Jacob Michaels, and he recorded that. And I go, dude, what are you talking? Why are you showing me all these fucking bridges? He goes, isn't that what you want to see? I'm like, no.
How sweet is Michael Murray that he's like going, right?
Oh, I know.
I
Your
know.
hair is
Here's a good
tender too.
time. Here's the one
Yeah.
over the motorway. Here's
Dude.
the one over the fucking crack bed.
Like 6 bridges. He kept showing me and telling me about the history. And I'm like, what? And then by the third one, I'm like, what's going on? Is this guy fucking right in the head that he's showing me all these bridges?
That's
Fuck.
funny. That's fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
That was
Although-
beautiful.
We got onto Rubik's Cubes off the subject of exposure. Can I just say, this isn't about exposure, but it is about stealing magic. Obviously, Andy Gladwin had and Vanishing Ink had the documentary go up, which everybody and his mother is talking about. And Andy's doing the rounds, going on people's podcasts. I listened to the interview that he did with Eric Tate on the Penguin podcast. It was fucking amazing. Somewhere along the line, Andy Gladwin has gone from being kind of bit of a geek type, geeky sort of, wouldn't look out of place in fucking The Big Bang Theory as Sheldon's fucking fuck buddy. And now he's become
I wonder
James.
if Andy's going to use that in next year's session convention on the screen.
But he has. He had that whole I fuck Sheldon Cooper vibe to him for such a long time. Like, I'll never forget when Vanishing Ink were like being fucking attacked by fucking bad guys. And, it was just like, right, okay, this is the moment I'm trained for. Let's do this, motherfuckers. Right. Is that guy, is the Geek Squad, right? If he wasn't a magician, he'd fucking fix computers. That's what he'd do. He'd be a computer repair guy, right?
Accurate.
He's gone from that. He's gone from that. And since this documentary's come out, he's fucking James Bond. Like, it was always
Wait, so he's gone from fucking Sheldon Cooper to fucking
James Bond. No, the guy's a fucking.
Danny's doing a lot of fucking in this combo.
The guy's a superhero now. It always used to be.
He's Q. He's gone from Sheldon Cooper to Q.
Yeah, it always used to be like, okay, Vanishing Ink, you've got the super hot, super buff, super amazing Joshua J. And then down there, you've got Andy Gladwin. But now, Josh needs to fucking
hell.
get out of the way because honestly, over the last couple of weeks, Andy's become the fucking superhero. Josh needs to get the fuck out of the way and hand the alpha male card over to Andy and get in the fuck.
Andy's definitely the top now.
Oh,
My fucks.
fucking top dog at Vanishing Ink. If I was fucking Josh, I'd be like, what can I do for you, Mr.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Andy's got that horse cock on him, you know.
Yeah. Do you like me to bend over while I'm saying you're
Farmer
talking
dick.
to me, like, it's honestly,
Can you, because the documentary is out, but we can't see it yet. It's just going through the rounds.
but from all the interviews and everything there's a seeing, it's like Andy Gladwin leads a ragtag team of geeks and magicians to take these guys down. He's the leader. He's the fucking red leader coming in. He's the guy that's fucking
International diamond heist.
You take Indiana Jones and you fucking take all 4 of the 4 horsemen from the fucking Now You See Me films and you fuck them all together.
If what would happen if Indiana Jones was given a smartphone as a teenager instead of letting him go off traveling? And it's like, okay, my attention span is cooked. This is.
I'm sorry. I'm starting to fancy Andy a bit now because that guy is he's oh my God. Overnight, he's
Can
fucking
you
Josh Jade himself.
explain, like, so just to be clear, because I haven't seen the interview. So is he going after the people that resell tricks at like a fraction of cost? That's what he's going after, not like torrent sites, for example. He's going after the
Big Cake, you should be getting a knock on your door in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Andy Gladwin.
1, 2. You better lock that door. Andy fucking Gladwin's coming for you, Big Cake. He's
This is
taking
the Virgin Police. Open up, motherfucker.
He's taking
just
out
shows
the
up.
fucking trash in the magic community. Andy Gladwin's going to make magic great again.
fucking mates.
I actually
Dude.
really like that slogan, but I don't like. But I just don't like, what undertones.
What was I gonna tell you? Andy's gonna come with like a fucking rhino horse cock fucking strap on his head and be like, "It's ready. It's time, boys."
Fucking farmer cock.
what's
He catches it in his zip every time. It's just a fucking hog.
Oh,
but he's going after like Erdnase Magic Store, for example. That's who he's going after. Just to be clear.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
That's
and
crazy.
Some of the stories he's telling on. But you should listen to the Penguin podcast. You should listen
I
to
will.
Eric Bates. Because Eric,
The Insider I listened to as well. That was really funny.
yeah, that was a really good one. The Insider, like Andy lays down what he's been doing the last couple of years to trap these motherfuckers, and he's like taking trips out to fucking desolate country. Just him and his fucking charisma. He doesn't need fucking weapons. He doesn't need a fucking googly-eyed gun. No, he just fucking walks in. He's like fucking MacGyver. Give him a fucking paperclip, and he's gonna blow these motherfuckers up. Like he's just walking in there, and he's like, "You better fucking back down." Like he got them to the point
He
where
fucking drops his hog on the table.
yeah,
Boom.
he got
My fucking world's greatest magic collection. You cunts.
I will
Dude,
come
you're-
down on you with great vengeance and fury.
Nobody pirates the master push-off double lift and gets away without it.
Yeah.
Fucking super, I'm an idiot.
It's funny. Again, it's the same thing that I was saying the other week of like, I want to challenge. When I reached 100K, that I want to fight illusionist. Like I want to go to the warehouse, and I end up going in there and just fighting a small Mexican woman. I feel like it's the same with this. That Andy shows up, he's taking a plane ride to fucking some remote part of China, and then it's like a really fucking tiny, emaciated Chinese guy that's like reselling all this shit, and he's like, you feel bad now because he's like, you fucking take that shit off, and he's like, yes, I'll do it.
Oh,
Like
no,
that's what
they're
it feels
playing
like.
hard.
No,
You
they
need
went to
to
like
listen.
Estonia or something, didn't they?
Yeah, they're playing hard.
Really?
Like they basically turned around to Andy and said, "We'll take, we'll stop pirating your stuff if you pay us $20,000 in Bitcoin every month for life." And Andy's like, "You take your fucking Bitcoin, you turn it sideways, you polish it up nice and shiny, and shove it straight up your asses, motherfuckers, because I'm coming to get you." That's what he's doing. He's
Wow.
cleaning up
Fucking
magic. Andy
Andy
Gladwin
Glad-
is the leader we always needed.
The dark knight of the industry.
Yeah, fucking move out. the
Tribal
way.
chief. I acknowledge you, Andy Gladwin. I acknowledge you.
Acknowledge.
The
I hear
fucking
you.
tribal
I hear
chief.
you.
You don't know that,
Glad
life
when
because
glad when we trust. I'm gonna get WWGD on my
Yeah.
fucking finger tattoo. What would Gladwin do? See, Andy went after them in fucking person to their fucking door, and for
Wait.
me it was like, right, if you're gonna fucking steal my shit, I'm just gonna give it away.
has it.
That's the thing. Like,
Basically, Andy was like, I'm gonna kill those people for finding the dick pics on my phone, where like Jeff Bezos just posted his own dick pic. I was like,
It's like a fucking-
expose this bitch. There's nothing to
About
there's
this.
nothing-
it's about
My
this.
secrets are worthless. Take what you
Mm.
will. I'm just fucking spatchcock flayed out on a table.
We've talked about
Has
this.
it.
It's a major problem in the industry, and most fucking creators, most industry leaders, most magic shop owners, most producers, most fucking anybody will just go, well, there's nothing we can do about it, so we'll sit over here and we'll just hope it goes away. It's not going to fucking go away. It's only going to get worse. And there's fucking Andy Gladwin. No. We don't stop. We don't push this shit away. We are fucking nutting up, and we're going to fucking take these motherfuckers down. And by the way, I'm going to document the whole thing so you know that you've been taken down, motherfucker. Like, I've got so much respect for Andy for doing this. Seriously.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. I cannot wait to see the documentary. I think it's gonna get picked up by some. It's got to be picked up by some major channel.
It's got to.
I don't want to be a dick. Right?
Can you stop
But-
texting my wife when we're recording a podcast?
Yeah, your wife that called me handsome the other day. Listen, the point is, what I was gonna ask you is, has it had any tangible effect though? I mean, the documentary is not out.
Next question. That would be my
Yeah.
next question. So my thing is, I don't release. I don't make essentially like I only release if it's like physical products now. So
Let's see.
it's you can't really pirate my shit to the extreme.
Let me.
I don't know, yeah.
Erdnase Magic Store. Let's see. Shop Erdnase Magic Store. Okay, let me search.
If you sign back
Uh,
into your account, Pidcake,
Yeah, let me, bro. I have to be full retard to fucking first of all, to fucking go through this website, give them my information, and then buy something from their fucking website. It's the dumbest shit in the planet. But let me look up, for example, Barnes. Lloyd Barnes and Enigma Odyssey, all 2 volumes. Okay, their search is fucked because I can't even search on their fucking website. But
You won't find a lot of my stuff on pirate sites anymore.
what I found really funny is that the kit that me and Peter haven't fulfilled yet for Kickstarter, because again, fucking stupid delays, it's on one of these websites and under pre-sale. Like, what the fuck, dude? What are you gonna get? Just the downloads of Peter talking shit for like 17 hours? Barnes. So yeah, what I find here, I go Lloyd Barnes and Enigma Odyssey. Please log in to watch this content. So now they're at least this website seems to be hiding behind subscription, not subscription, but like you have to sign up to it. I don't know the other one. I know Erdnase is the only one that I'm familiar with, but I just wanted to see if they have.
Try
for example,
YouTube. YouTube.
Did you say try YouTube? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
You're so funny. You're so fun. But what I wanted to look for example, is like Vanishing Elephant, like on this Vanishing Elephant Lloyd. Let me see how good their SEOs are. Lloyd Barnes. Lloyd Barnes, you're the first one that comes up. Vanishing Inc. Has Lloyd Barnes magic tricks. I'm so fucking blind. Lloyd TV. No, it doesn't pop up here. Do you happen to know any one of these websites that I could look up real quick?
No. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm probably gonna get fucking shot for this stance. Most of my stuff can't be pirated because it's physical products that I sell. Anything else gets taught on YouTube or it's on my Patreon, which is a fucking nightmare for them to pirate. It's just so fucking difficult. And it's easier. It's literally easier and about the same price for people to sign up to my Patreon and get everything for $15 than it is to try and trudge through those magic sites. And this is my kind of thinking on it, is that I haven't shared the Vanishing Elephant tutorial publicly on my YouTube channel. I really want to, but I'm not going to out of respect for the people that have bought it. But I fucking pray that it gets pirated. If anybody sits through that and watches that tutorial, my sales will go through the roof.
That's so funny.
Because when I teach it at conventions, people go crazy for the method. It gets a round of applause for the method. If I can convince someone to sit down for an hour to watch that whole tutorial, and it happened with Cognito. The method for Cognito is so much fun for magicians. And the way it's taught in the tutorial is that they end up performing it on themselves as they're learning it. So they don't know kind of thing, like as it's playing out. And that got leaked onto pirate sites. And I could track the exact moment when it was leaked and when Stale started going crazy. So I'm not actively against, because and the reason is this: they couldn't just download the app. They had to officially buy it because of the licensing code structure. Same for the Vanishing Elephant. They can't just make it themselves at home. And that's why everything I put out these days, it cannot be made at home. Or like, for example, 6 Pro, you can't just perform it. You have to officially own it with a license key. And anything else physical that I put out, you have to physically own it. The way I see it is that when they get leaked onto magic sites, they're just giant adverts. So if I can convince someone to sit down and watch this stuff for an hour, my sales go up. And I know it's a really bad way of thinking. I know, like, not everyone is fortunate enough that they like follow that. Not fortunate, that's probably a wrong way of looking at it, but not everyone subscribes to the same thinking and practices that I do. But at least for me, it really works when it does get leaked.
Well, that should be a sort of like what we're talking about earlier with the Masked Magician and all these fucking dumbasses that are just, purple background, low IQ toilet content, that you found a novel way around, pirate my shit because you still have to buy it, you fucking idiot. Which is
they pirate it. I lose the secrets. Secrets are normally, for my shit, the secret's normally cooler than the trick.
The stupidity though is that the consumer is gonna go, oh, I found this trick cheaper. Maybe they're gonna give me the whole thing. Like they think that
I have had that. I've had more than once. I've had somebody complain to me, send me an email going, I bought the Nightshade coin set. from this place. Here's my proof of purchase, and it didn't come with the props. Please, can you send them to me? And they paid like $5 from Erdnase Magic Store or something, and they expected to get an entire full coin set.
Fuck. You gotta look on
Some people just
AliExpress.
chance it though as well.
Huh?
You know, some people just chance it. That's the thing. Like, if somebody bought a pair of fake AirPods off AliExpress and then they complained to Apple that they weren't legit, should Apple have to reimburse them for that? Like, it's kind of like, it is 2026. You should, and Magic is a very small niche industry. It's very easy to find the source kind of thing. You know,
It's
who's that?
crazy. Sorry to interrupt, but I said crazy that you could still find marketed magic tricks shittily made on AliExpress and Wish and Temu. They could look up like one that I got for shits and giggles is that one with it's like the smash and stab, but you know the one that's like a magnet. The base is a magnet and it sticks on it. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh,
I think it might be.
It's a PK thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That is sold on fucking for like $5 on Temu. It's so weird that even in our niche, people are replicating it, and because you know they're obviously circumventing the original creator, and they're saying, okay, we saw the video, we could make this, we could sell it. It's so funny that they still get into our industry and then make the product and resell it. It's so fucking weird, dude. Because how much money are they making? I mean, I guess it might be an impulse buy because they're selling it for $5. So yeah, might as well add it to the cart. But wow, it's fucking nuts. You could find packet tricks on Temu and shit. Like it's a matter of time till Ape shows up there.
That'll be there eventually. Yep.
I have so many. I have fucking apes up the ass. I have vanishing elephants up the ass. I just got a box yesterday of fucking 6 Pros, dude. I'm in it right now. I'm in the virginity, dude. Fuck. What's the other one? The other fat boys that I have, this 6 Pros, I have Doc Spera, stupid Lloyd's face, just there looking edgy as shit. I have to look at that every morning. Fuck.
Yeah,
My morning routine now is make coffee and for Phil. That's my morning routine. I wake up, I go to Shopify, and then I'm like, all right, let me just pack in 37 bankables for fucking no quarter. Let me just put these out there, fucking sending them out, and then let me just pack fucking elephants in there for Lloyd and 6 Pros and all these other fun ones. I guess that's why I was texting your wife, Lloyd, for fucking.
You sent her a dick pic, man. Or was it just a corkscrew? I don't know. I couldn't.
Oh, that's funny. Cats have corkscrew cocks. I don't know if you know that.
I do know. I do know.
The dicks are shaped like a...
You guys talk amongst yourselves for a second. My electrician guy is just heading off, and I want to just grab it. Payment detail. It goes.
Yeah. Obviously, you go and get the hired help that's looking after your illuminating your swimming.
Give me
pool.
2 seconds.
That out.
Wow, must be nice to just have a like. Oh, my pool. I have my lights on my pool that he bought with Vanishing Elephant funds. Fuck, unbelievable! This Lloyd big leaguing us. It's a matter of time till he ditches. That's why I joined a podcast. I'm sure because he has the future in mind. He's like, man, I'm gonna ditch this fuck. I'm going to become my own man. I'm going to have my own fucking podcast, call it the Real Magic Podcast, and then fucking fuck us off. A matter of time, dude. I feel it. It's the 4th floor is going to get to his head, and he's going to fucking start like having the Magic Convention. He's going to have his own. It's just going to have his own, like in the Roogly Rose. He's going to have it in the Roogly Daffodil. Fuck. Unbelievable, mate.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, that's very, very funny. Yeah. So I was going to talk about something else, but he's fucked off. Should we just talk about it without him, or have you got something?
Yeah, fuck Lloyd.
Waiting.
Well, I just find I was going to ask you just more about the crazy fucking schedule that you have, because it's just so funny that you're in America fucking off for weeks at a time filming these projects, 9 at a time. Is there anything that, I guess historically, let me just ask, it might be something that you don't want to answer, but have you ever fucking taught anything that you're like, this is not good, this is shit? You don't have to name it.
Not since I came back to Magic, no.
Okay, but before?
Because I'm quite selective about what I get involved with. So when I was over in Columbus recently, I was filming 8 projects. Only 3 of them were owned, 5 of them were for other people. and I had a say in which ones that I was able to do. So I only really I get people asking me all the time, will you jump on this project? Will you jump on this project? Will you jump on this project? And typically the answer is no a lot of the time, just because if I haven't got time to do it properly, or I don't think I can add something to the project, I'm not going to get involved. But if I think I can add something, or if I think that I've got time to do it, then yes, I'm all in. Or if it looks like a fun thing to work on, or if it's a fun person that I've always wanted to work with, or somebody I wanted to collab with. So I'm in quite a fortunate position that I get to work with, I get to say yes or no. So since I've come back to Magic, I've not really had a project that I didn't like working on. Before, when it was the old World Magic Shop days, there was this fucking diabolical trick that I brought out that had my name on it, and I forever regret it. And it's called Pool Ball Miracles. And you get a shitload of fucking pool balls. You get like a white, but it's not been around for years. You get a white ball, you get a red 3, you get black 8, you get a bunch of, you get a blue, 2 blues, I don't know, fuck thing. And then you get a fucking huge tutorial with a bazillion tricks on it. And I had no desire to bring out a fucking pool ball trick at all. But what happened is Jim Trainer, who unfortunately is no longer with us, God rest his soul, Jim Trainer came back to World Magic Shop headquarters one day while I was filming the Wizard Product Review, and he pulled up with a job lot of pool ball sets, like a fucking million of them, taking up half of the warehouse. And he's like, "I just bought some pool balls. Why? Well, got them for next to nothing." And they were small enough to palm. They were slightly smaller than a normal pool ball. And then he said, "Right, okay, can you put a project together?" I was like, guess so, because I'm the sort of person that kind of a lot of the time will say yes and then work out how to do it later. I like to try and help people if I can. I like to try and please people. So I was like, yeah, go on then. What have we got? And he gave me a set of pool balls, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with these? And I came up with some routines, and most of them are shit. There's one routine in there, 2 routines in there that are half decent. The rest of them are terrible.
That's so funny. Fuck.
The pool ball through table is possibly the worst thing that anybody has ever seen, ever, in the entire history of Magic. It will forever, be burnt into my fucking brain as the worst trick of all time.
Dude, you've seen Drink Magic.
I don't know. I think Pool Ball Miracles is my Drink Magic, brother. It's just fucking terrible. It really is. Yeah.
I think we gotta. Speaking of things you're gonna hate, I feel like we gotta do something, like you and me. Just like
I would fucking love to collab with you, man. I would love to collab with you.
I think that'd be sick. Like I fucking go to Columbus, Ohio, get hammered, and then watch you perform, and then do nothing, and then later on, inevitably, like when somebody asks you, "Hey man, what did you fucking not like working on?" That pig cake trick was fucking shit. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want, dude. Fuck.
Well, I loved your lighter through coin. I thought that you brought out with Alakazam. I thought that was great. I thought that was really good. And I looked at it and I was like, why have I not thought of doing that? That's such a smart idea.
Well, I wanted to do a smaller version. I wanted to do a quarter version with the mini lighters, but that never came to fruition. I don't know if he has, if I sold him the idea and then now he could do that. But I just thought that it'd be a really simple thing to just sort of do it with a smaller item. There were also other additions. I wanted to do like a bent lighter bit too afterwards. So you bend the lighter and then it's permanently bent. So that's just a little thing. Very James Keatley style Magic, I guess, now thinking about it, because he's like the fucking lighter coin master. Or
although when I saw it, the method, without getting into method,
Mhm.
it felt very much, and I know how much you've respected Jay in the past and how much of an influence he was in your career. It felt like early Jay Sankey, and I mean that in a very, very positive way. We're not talking about Jay Sankey now that will just pimp out his own grand, make a couple of quid. I'm talking about when he was truly revolutionary, because it had a very low-tech feel to it. And then it was a very simple way of achieving what you were setting out to achieve, but the visual was incredible. You didn't compromise on any aspect of the routine in order to do it cheaply. You came up with the simplest and the most direct way to achieve the effect you wanted to achieve. And I love the fact there were so many different handlings and so many different options and so many different ways of doing it. It was great. I really loved it. I thought it was a great product.
Yeah, thank you, man. But I wish they pushed it a little bit more. I wish Daddy Nardi pushed it because it's a fun little bit. I think it's a nice impulse buy that people would do and have on them. And it's something that, a lighter is becoming less and less prevalent now, but it's something that, people they'll die rather than giving up their cigarettes. So though it's something you find around in environments anyways. And it's such a nice little, it's just a classic cigarette through coin bit from Cameron Magic, essentially, but with a lighter. Because they had it where it was just a hole. I don't know if you remember that with I think Gary Roulette, was it?
Oh yeah.
So because you always had the method with like the flap, but you have to fucking, hey, here's a cigarette, here's this object through object, but I can't show you the rest of the coin. And it's like, so his was great because you could just fucking put it in there and show it and then take it out, and then hand everything out, which is just a wonderful method. But I thought that one had a little bit more legs than what they pushed. So it's kind of unfortunate. But again, working with Nardi, you have to realize, dude, like for me, from what we were talking about last week, it's fucking crazy to me watching you, right? I also watched Nardi. I was obsessed with him and Mark Spellman when they came out with like the Unexpected set and Spellman set. Same thing with Sankey. I was obsessed with them. And then Sankey, like a couple years ago, gave me a phone call to tell me how funny I was. And then now, we're doing a fucking podcast, and it's just weird how magic comes around. Like it's such an odd thing to just be involved in this industry. And the people you look up to and the people that you studied are mates, essentially, are just fucking boys. And it's odd. It's fucking weird to me. Like I never in a million years imagined I would be able to tell fucking Nardi, hey, I have this idea. And he's like, yeah, I'll buy from you. And then he produces it. And it's fucking seamless. Weird. It's fucking odd. Yeah, man. It's what we were talking about, I think, the other day, about how we hold these magicians to a pedestal. And then you realize they're just blokes. They're dudes. They're bros. Like it's very, magicians tend to be, at least, I say they tend to be approachable. But there are some that they do have that ego that it's unavoidable, and they think their shit doesn't stink, and you're like, bro, you do magic tricks, shut up. My significant other tells me all the time when I make fun of like other people's livelihoods that she's like, dude, you do magic tricks. And I'm like, I know where I stand in the totem pole of existence, but fortunately there's a market for it, and that's where I make my living. And it's funny that a good portion of us are very approachable, and that's the way you sort of move up in the industry. You realize that these people aren't just gods. They're fucking day-to-day ordinary dudes.
You know what I find interesting in this community, and maybe this is why there's a certain amount of toxicity at times, is that it's kind of weird that magic is a community. And we all hang out with each other, and we speak to each other online, and we go to conventions, and we're drinking till 3 o'clock in the morning, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of the time, people at those conventions are actually in direct competition with each other. You'll have two people drinking with each other, showing each other tricks at a convention that might be next week bidding for the same gig. Might be, oh, let me tell you why I'm better than the other guy because of this. Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I'm the best choice for your event. Not that they're slagging the other person off, but they're promoting themselves, in essence, does the same thing. And then you've got people at a convention that are creators, and you've got two creators sitting next to each other. But essentially, those two creators are competing against each other because when they bring a trick out, the community can't buy everything. So which person do they choose? Who do they choose? Which trick do they go? And, same with lecturers, same with stage performers. It's kind of weird. I don't think you get that in many other industries where there's this very small niche community where everybody regularly meets up and sees each other. And yet in one way or another, a lot of people in that community are actually competing against each other as well. It's kind of weird.
It is. And I came in from the outside looking in, right? And I realized that magic behind the scenes, a lot of people don't realize how cutthroat it is. And it's odd. And people are still approachable, but then you got to realize that at the end of the day, they're still trying to run a business. So it's very competitive. And I didn't understand that. And I was sort of taken back by it when I first went to conventions. And, I was one of the first people I met in Magic was Xavier Spade. And, he had connections up the ass with everyone, like everyone. And he was kind of showing me just around. And it's such a weird, like the sort of bit of conventions when they're there scouting. Like one of the things I remember when I was doing videos for Illusionist was one of the reasons that they were heading to conventions was to see what's new, see if they could maybe get an idea. And I noticed that Penguin is doing that, Murphy's was doing that, Illusionist is doing that, and they're just going around looking for what it is that they could come up with as the next potential thing to put out. And in that aspect, yeah, it's very cutthroat, but you'll see them hanging out together and drinking and having a good time, and it's just weird. It's a weird sort of I hate to use the word juxtaposition, but it exists where they're aware that they're competitors, but then they'll hang out and chat and be boys. It's a weird vibe in a Magic convention. And I remember I was very sort of apprehensive about going to conventions in the beginning because it just felt like a weird thing. Like, God, it's just going to be a bunch of fucking nerds just hanging out. But then you end up making friends, lifelong friends, and making connections that end up changing your life. And it's such a fucking good thing to have, which is why I wish that there was more of them. I mean, here, I know that at the local IBM ring, they're talking about maybe bringing back a convention called Magic in the Beach, which would be phenomenal. But we need more of that. And I think that that's something that is sort of lacking because there's only the big ones. But that's where I think, hey, what's up, dog?
How's your pool?
My pool's now got an LED strip cord all around it.
Wow.
So sick.
Fucking
So
God.
I'm telling yeah, you think that's impressive, Lloyd? My pool doesn't exist. So I think I win on that one.
This is not a symbol of wealth. I bought the worst house on the street for half price because there was a tragedy that happened here. And it was run down. It's a 100-year-old house. It happened to be that in the 80s, the owner decided to build a heated swimming pool and then let it rot. So as you know, for 2 years, me and Kaylee ourselves renovated the whole fucking house from top to bottom.
I know you did.
The only thing we haven't done is put a new roof on it at this point, and we brought the swimming pool back to life. So I'm not a millionaire, but it's just that I fucking work. I physically grafted to get this motherfucker going, and it's sick now. So
I was just
I
telling
don't
Craig
I don't mind about bragging about it because I actually fucking I was one of those millionaires just bought everything.
it's a matter of time till you big league us. All right. It's a matter of time till Lloyd gets all that fourth floor. All right. The fucking exuberance. And you just decide to do your own, the fourth floor podcast. All right. And you leave us behind as you're there in the ivory towers.
We got a fourth floor. Well, it's a fourth floor live stream, the 404, and slowly phasing you out.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That we're that's why I was introduced to the podcast is as your replacement, because you're just gonna move on to bigger and better things and forget about the people that put you in that position. All right. The small fish that make you a big boy fish.
Can we jam an idea?
Okay.
It's not right. So it's not an idea. It's a problem to an old trick that everyone sort of does in one way, shape, or form, but it never feels like it hits right. It sits right with me. So there's an effect. It's a really basic effect, right? So say, for example, you'd call it stop to think of a card, right? So say you stop on that, I'd look away, and then it gets lost into the deck. Okay, and then I'd say we're going to turn over a random card. Is this your card? And we'll turn over the top card. And it's not that 5 of spades that you're thinking of. So I'd put it in your hand, and then it changes into the 5, right? No, that's not the fucking thing, is it? There's one where the X card comes into play for no reason. And I was thinking about it the other day. There's an X card that comes in. Oh, I've completely lost. I was just fucking thinking about it before I went off on that call to talk to him.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't distract
an
yourself.
X card comes into play, but there's never any reason for it. No, it's a 2-card transpo, but where the X card has no reason for being. So you go, we'll use the 5 of diamonds. Is this what it is? And that goes in. I made a note to speak to you guys about it, and then I'll show you Ace of Diamonds. The ace goes here. Oh, and that's it. And then this card gets shown, a 3 of clubs, and then you change the 3 into the ace, and now I have the ace, and in your hand is the 5. But that 3 never makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
if this is what you're meaning, I'll show you something that I've done for quite a while that I've never like published or anything, that I think makes sense of having an X card change. So we're talking about an X card changing into another card, right?
In the context of a 2-card transfer, but where a 3rd card is introduced for no reason.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, this is something I've done for years. Like, this is something that I love doing. So you bring out a deck of cards, and it's a regular pack of cards. It really is just a regular deck. And you say, you then bring out a different card. You say, this is actually a red back card. It's actually a joker. Jokers are wild in this trick. Like, jokers will literally stand for any single card in the deck. Let me show you what I mean. So I would get Pig Cake to sign this card, for example. So he would write
Pig
on the card.
My mom's name.
Obvious reasons. I thought her name was Mrs. Cake. So whatever. And then you say, look, I'll tell you what, Pig Cake, we're going to use this to try and work out what your card is, but you haven't actually got a card yet. So just say stop as I go through.
Stop.
Yeah. I need you to have just a sneaky peek at that card. Can you just have a look at it? Remember it. Don't forget it. Okay. Very important you remember that card. Charlie Main and Jay Sankey, I know. Now we're going to use this joker to try and work out what your card is. So hold on to it in their hand, and they do. And you say, right, okay, done. And then when they turn over their signed card, it's turned into the card they picked in the deck. And that gets a really, really strong reaction. Is that not what we're talking about here?
No.
Fair enough.
No.
I will say,
It's a good trick.
I'm the only person in the world that regularly uses Topper.
Topper. Yeah, dude.
I use that move all of the time, and I think I'm probably the only person who uses it.
I like it in that context where you do it almost as a the Gary Roulette touch force, where it's where they spread the cards and then you do this thing to show the card. I like it better as they call stop, and then you show it like this rather than this thing. But this does have a lot of merit though, just because it's such a beautiful move where you're doing this thing just to give them a little peek, and you push it in a little bit more just to give a reason as to why you're pulling it out. Right? I love that. It's a fucking phenomenal move.
But one thing that I've done a lot of is, for anybody who's watching this that actually does do Topper, and sorry, I'm completely going off track here, but I have 3 red cards in my pocket and I have a joker on top, and I do a frustration count. So I say I've got 3 jokers. I'm going to put 1 in front of each person, and then I have them sign the jokers. And so then I take the first joker back and I say, right, okay, what I want you to do is look at a card. So they look at a card and you say, right, remember that card. Brilliant. Now, can you hold your hand out for me? I'm going to put your signed joker into your hand. And I do that 3 times with their 3 signed jokers. And I say, right, okay, so you're holding 3 signed jokers. So I've got 3 cards in the deck that are yours. I'm going to try and find them like this. And then when they turn the signed jokers over, they've turned into the 3 cards that they peeked at. So,
okay. Yeah, cool.
But
Cool.
Lloyd was asking, so sorry.
Yeah. Lloyd, but okay, so hold up. So just to elaborate, so you're talking a little bit about
My brain's gone dead.
transpo?
I was thinking about there's a 2-card transpo where a 3rd card's introduced, and it changes into the selection or one of the 2 cards. But that 3rd card never sits right with me being in the effect. And I'm trying to think what if it's. Is it like
For me, it's always been a warm up. I think that's the way I've always justified that. So, for example, let's say you're doing that, the basic one that you just said in the very beginning, where they peek at a card, right? Let's say they peek at that one. That card gets lost in the middle, and I go, I'm gonna say, before I find your card, I need a warm up, right? So let me see if I could just. All right, I'm gonna try to find, let's say the 6, right? I got it. Yeah. All right, so that's great. And then that's the reason why you show this X card, right? That you name it before you find it, and then you go, now that I'm warmed up, let me see if I can find your card, right? Let me see if I can find yours. So that's just the other bit, because I've always hated that arbitrary introduction. I always love that one though, where you they're the ones that find it. That one from I think Expert Card Technique Aurora Road, where you're okay. There's a 6. You're gonna insert that anywhere you want, right? It's not that one. Oh, it's not this one. Oh, it's the card you're holding, right? That bit. I
Yeah.
always love that. That is,
Do you?
if I'm hammered, that's what I'm doing, because that for some reason gets just unbelievable reactions.
Yeah. I used to do it all the time, like loads and loads and loads. I always feel that, and I know it's one of those ones I know it gets I never like that it comes back near me. But it's a lovely ruse that you set them up down the garden path thinking that it's going to be something else. So because it creates the correct motivation, or, not correct, but it creates justified motivation for them to hold on to the card because they're going to use that card to do something, other than just arbitrarily holding it. Like, okay,
Yeah,
now put it in
yeah,
your
yeah.
hand. Okay, now it changes.
Well, which is always why I love Back in Time, because Back in Time gives you a reason as to why they're doing it, because you're going back to when they're putting the card back in the deck, and then that shows that the deck is fixed. Back in Time, Jay Sankey, phenomenal. That I think it's a perfect trick, and it's that sort of aesthetic, but with a logical reason within the context of your trick, which is we're gonna use this card to fix the deck. Oh, by the way, we also went back in time to when you were gonna put the card in the deck. So if that was the case, and then they turn it over and it's their card, waves of just seminal fluid going everywhere. It's fucking phenomenal.
Instead of like in the first example you use, when they mark where they want you to cut with using the card that's been switched. What are some other good motivations for having someone hold onto a card to do something with it, aside from just then revealing that it's changed? What are some other good uses for that? Use cases.
That's an interesting question. Interesting question.
Like,
Yeah.
in this heat, find yourself with that card. Oh, look, it's changed.
Yeah. Fuck's sake, dude. Ill.
You know?
That's interesting because there really isn't much apart from them sticking it in or doing what would they do with the card? That's a sort of natural action without them fucking like, hey, here, hold this card arbitrarily. I've always
No, it's yours. Use the card and then put a post-it note on the back and use it to write on.
Yeah, okay.
Use it to cover something. Use it to.
Well, that was the original concept behind my magic button routine, which was I wanted to give them a signed card, but not have them realize it's a signed card. So I gave them a card with a button on it, and I'm like, every time you press the button, something amazing is going to happen. So they're pressing the button while they're holding onto this card, and they think that's what's causing the magic. And then at the end, when they look at the back of the card, it's actually got their signed card on it.
Yeah.
It's pretty set for fuel as well.
Yes.
There you go. Little tease, man. Fucking Lloyd was telling me about that the other day. Fucking hot stuff, man. Get it?
Dude, it's incredible. The
ABC.
reactions that you get from that are ridiculous.
Yeah. I have to imagine it's just fucking just stupid sick. Did I ever, because I just remember something, did I ever show you the card to mouth Back in Time bit?
No, can you see it?
No.
Okay.
Well, because I know card to mouth, like when you're doing, sorry, let me spit out my fucking Alp. This moment is amazing, right? I love it when the card's in your mouth and they look, but what I want to do was come up with a justification for it. So the way that I thought up was in the context of a Back in Time routine. So the routine would start with them having touched the card, and I go, remember this moment. We're going to come back to it at some point. But I'm actually going to tell you the secret as to how magicians do stuff. We actually use time travel. I know. Keep the wine in. You're doing all those lines. But then the card eventually comes to the top, right? Let's say that whatever, Queen of Spades, whatever, we go back in time, the card comes up. And that's the only Queen of Spades in the deck. So you fill in the deck like this. That's the only Queen of Spades in the deck. As a matter of fact, I want you to push it in. So now
that's really cool.
They push it in, right? The card goes in your mouth, and we go back in time to when the card was in my mouth and I was showing them the deck. So there's a reason. Yeah. So that's
Do you ever use a hat?
Considering I always wear one to hide my fucking shit hairline, I should, right? I should just put it in my hat or my fucking glasses.
When we go live with your rebrand, which is not too far away, Can we shave your head like Madison did in that trailer? Like seriously,
feel like-
not like a bald, not bald, but like a number 6. All
A
over.
number
I think it was.
six.
I think number 6. That's like when it's got like a little bit of. It's not too short, so you still see your hair kind of. It's like
You
about the
keep
length
saying-
of Craig's.
Rebrand, but I feel like the rebrand is going to be you ever seen that show Maury, where they have like they'll be like,
DNA
here's a
test.
yeah, that one, but they used to have episodes where it was like, here's a disgusting ugly nerd, and we're going to make them shower, and we're going to cut their hair, and they're going to look
A glow
decent.
up. A glow up.
Yeah, that's what I feel like you're doing, but
The worst thing is, Peggy, I'm doing this for you, and you're acting like you don't want it.
you said the
Please,
worst thing.
Mama, I don't want to. Yeah. You're like finally, Mom, I don't
Fucker.
want to go in the shower. Mom, I don't want to eat my. Mom, I don't want to do this. It's for your own good, you little fucking squeal.
Well, you're the one that's
Little pig.
suggesting to change my name to Juan Chorizo or some shit. You fuck.
I think
Jose
what is it?
Chorito.
Say
Josh Sausage.
I think,
I said I take the word down. Josh
Yeah.
Sausage.
And now coming to the stage, Josh Sausage. Wow.
Sausage. His
I just
name
had
is the
Madison have a
Sausage.
character called Susan Sausage or something.
Yeah, I end up
Yes,
doing
yes,
this
say the
thing with
sausage.
sausages. Right? That's my whole bit. I'm just doing this thing with sausages. Oh, wow. Fucking. Ew, dude. See, fucking make the sausage. MGH. I got MGH. I can't say that here because.
Wasn't he married to Megan Fox?
Who? Oh, no, MGK. You're talking about MGK. Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah.
Man Bun Kelly.
Man Bun Kelly. But he does have a man bun. That's funny. And I also have a man bun. And you have a man bun too.
I do. I'm fucking rocking that shit right now. Oh my god, look.
I have no hair, so well done.
Dude, you got to get the Paul Heyman. You got to grow that out and then get a little ponytail.
I'll see what I can do.
Fuck, dude. Just get like that. They get that little rat tail. Dude, that'll look sick. And then that's your.
Yeah. You know what, Craig? You would look absolutely badass with a full blown beard.
Really?
100. Dude? You would look like a fucking. You look like a Greek fucking philosopher if you had that. I actually don't know why you haven't grown it out.
I don't know. I just don't do beards. I've never done beards.
And
I
like,
think you need to grow one for the convention.
Oh, do you now?
You look like Pig Cake's retarded father.
yeah. My dad he kind of looks retarded to begin with.
Back to the original question. In terms of how can you introduce a card that has no context? That was the thing, right? Like how
Yes.
a spectator's holding a card, and you want them to hold it. It'll eventually be their card, but you want to have a reason for them to hold it. The other thing is you hide the fact that it's got a different back or it has a different purpose, so they don't think it's got anything to do with the card that they picked. So, for example, you do this old Matthew Dowden bit where you have them sign a card. So they sign the card and you leave it sticking out the deck. Whoops, hang on, let's get this right. Sorry. You leave it stick out. Yeah, I get it right. There you go. You leave it sticking out the deck like that, and then you reach into your pocket and you say, "Look, I've got a prediction. Can you hold on to that for me for a minute? Please do not lose it. That's my prediction. Don't look at it just yet." That would be another reason they don't think this has got anything to do with the deck because it's got a different color back. It's got prediction written over it. It doesn't have to be the word prediction. It could be anything. It could be a specially printed card with a fucking envelope on it. So it looks like an envelope, and I've got an envelope here. Can you hold it? Whatever the case may be, if you disguise the back of the card that you're giving them, even though it's their signed card, that would be another. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking shit.
You know, it's really good. I put out this thing before called Chekhov's card, which is based off Chekhov's gun principle. Have you ever heard of that in movie making? Which is if you introduce a gun in a movie at the beginning of the movie, it must go off at some point during the movie. It's a principle in filmmaking. So it's like you'll notice it. You'll see a random object or a person in the movie, and that must pay off at some point. It's a rule of filmmaking. So I come up with this routine, and it was a way to sort of just it's for card pocket, but it makes it play stronger. And I found it absolutely completely does play stronger where it uses Chekhov's gun principle. So all it is that you do a normal. So before you begin, you do this. So I'm gonna say we're chatting away. Say, "Oh, where'd you come from? Nice to see you. I'm gonna show you something cool. Like this. Okay, like take a card, and let's say you remember a card, like the 2 of clubs, goes back into the center of the deck, and then you say, now before I began, you may have noticed I placed 1 card in my pocket, and then you bring it out, and all it is that you just you before you begin, you just nonchalantly take a card out and put it in your pocket, and don't draw any attention to it whatsoever. So it's before the trick actually starts. You want them to clock it, but you don't want to make it like, okay, I'm going to make a prediction, right? Because now that's not really Chekhov's gun. It's the idea that before you begin, you're like, just I'll be with you in a second. Okay, all right, let me show you something cool. And then you do it that way. And I found the difference between doing it like that or just having a card selected and then just revealing it randomly in your pocket. It plays off like twice as strong.
That's really
Because
smart.
you're calling back. So it's like the callback kind of like scratches and itches to, you did something earlier, but what was that about? It like kind of like, it's like that, oh, okay, I needed that itch scratched. But again, introducing an X card or a random card for no reason. Or
That's funny.
justifying.
That's what keeps you up at night. It's like, man, fuck, what do I do with that X card in a random 2-card transposition?
I'm trying to think of
Oh.
the fucking beats of the routine that I was watching. I seen it and it was like there was an X card. It just fucking didn't sit right with me. It was something like, okay, like I put the 3 of diamonds in your hands for now. You hold on to that, and then we're gonna use this card. Okay, watch the 5. Boom, it becomes the 3, and that was the focus of the magician's routine. And then this card is just like the X card in their hand was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It made me feel some sort of way. It just didn't sit right. I was like, okay. I think that's what it was. This was the effect. All right, so we're gonna use a random card. So we'll take out the 3 of hearts. You're gonna hold out your hand flat. This will be the card. Okay, put your hand on top of the 3. We'll also use the 3 of hearts. We'll also use the 4 of diamonds. Okay, so watch the 4. What we'll have to do is blow and change it into the card that you were holding. Then they turn over the card in their hand, and it's just an X card, which is a random card. And it gets good reactions, but it felt like it never had a conclusion, or it never had reasoning. And I know it got really good reactions, but that card in their hand never made sense.
That card in their hand, something should happen to that card.
Or it should be there or it should be like that's the end point. Like ta-da! Like I don't know. Maybe
it's
going off on a tangent on my own.
I was gonna say that it's so funny that we try to like go over the top to justify things that lay people wouldn't give a shit about. But
I don't give a fuck.
It's funny, but I understand it because I find myself doing that all the time. I'm like, why does we do illogical things and we try to make them logical? And it's like, all right, nobody would ever in the history of fucking anyone turn over a card like this. Like nobody would ever and then turn it back face down like that. Nobody would ever do that. But we do it normally. Every fucking trick ever in Magic. And it's just a weird thing, but we just get away with it. I was going to say that it's funny. I remember years ago, and to this day, my friend still brings it up. I did 2 tricks. I did that trick that you described a little while ago, right? Where they pick a card. I show a random card and I go, do me a favor, just lift up your shoe. All right. Stomp on that card. Great. And that card is just a random arbitrary card. And I go, okay, now let me see if I could find your card. I made a mistake. All right, that wasn't your card, but let me see if I could find your card. Great. All right, perfect. I think I found it right here. What was your card? And then they say whatever. I go, no, that's the card that you thought was under your shoe. And then they look under their shoe and they find this card. And then I did a trick where I find a card in my shoe. And years after, to this day, he goes, dude, how'd you get that card in my shoe? How'd you get my card in my shoe? I'm like, I never, and I explained to him. Like an absolute piece. I'm like, bro, I did this trick to you. And then I did a trick where I find a card in my shoe and you misremembered it. He goes, no. The card is in my shoe. I'm like, no, you idiot. I'm explaining to you that magicians take advantage of your capacity.
Your memory.
Yeah.
Sure, be good though. I bet you could force that thought, that memory for every performance, almost, right? I bet if you did the one under their shoe, but before, so beats would be right. Okay, this is not your card. Fuck. All right. You know what? Stamp on that card. But I fucked it up. Now let's try some. Let me try something else. Yeah. Right. Ta-da! Watch. All right. This is the card that you're stamping on. This is your card. Whatever. look at the card that you pick is inside your shoe, and you make them take it off, and you go, I'm just obviously they can see the card still under there, and they take it off, right? And I'm like, of course it's not inside your fucking shoe. Are you an idiot? I'll do miracles. Put the shoe back on, and then you also, at the same time they reveal that it's the right one. Then for the next phase, you pull the card out of your shoe, right?
Mhm.
And then give it time to marinate, percolate. They'll have that physical memory of taking off their shoe,
Yeah,
the
cool.
sound bites of card in shoe, and actually having a card in a shoe, but it's in yours, and the whole memory of their card being near their feet. And I
Yeah.
bet you could, like, 80% of the time gravitate people's memories to come that same conclusion again, because they've just added a physical element to that thought process.
You know what I just realized? That the card 2 shoe that I did was Matthew Dowden. So the second time you dropped that guy, what the fuck happened to that guy?
Party animal.
Dude, one of
He's an
the
actor now,
best.
isn't he?
He was doing Christmas shows at the Magic Circle at Christmas. He's now a Hollywood actor.
Unbelievable set. It's one of the best sets. He had some fucking great work in there.
You know those really shitty films that my wife loves, all of the Hallmark fucking, like, it's always the same fucking plot over and over again, told in a million different fucking scenarios, but you can predict it. You could literally write the script for them as you're watching it. You know what's going to come up next. He's one of the leading male leads for that.
Oh,
Great.
Big
That
City.
didn't sound very good. That wasn't like
No,
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
He's a movie star in America, and I'm bald and sitting in an office in Cannock. He fucking wins the lottery of life. But that's
I love that.
not only a movie star, also three random people on a podcast are still talking about how good his material is.
You
Not in the industry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to go through a whole script. I'm like, you are a fucking wealthy finance bro with a fucking model of a girl, and she goes to a small town and finds a farmer that she falls in love with, and she refuses your money because she realizes that the small life is for her, even though rich, wealthy guy had a life set out for her that she's getting everything she's ever wanted. But she finds love in the farmer boy who's, I don't know, selling pancakes at the fucking farm to save it.
His Andy
like-
Gladden in there with his horse cock.
Yeah. It's like Titanic. Titanic is Rose is such a dumb bitch in the fucking movie, because like you have this guy Billy Zane who's like a stud. He's a fucking he's rich. Yeah, he hits you every once in a while, but shut up. All right, it's the 20s. And then you get this guy that's just
it's the same as kissing back then, I think.
yeah, yeah. That's fucking third base back then was holding hands. Now third base is like double fisting. You know, like it's
just it's still choking. Third base is still choking, but it's just
okay.
a lot more. It's just a lot more sexy these days.
fuck's sake, dude. Anyway, so a 2-card transposition. But what I was gonna say that I don't know if you remember in that project, the card 2 shoe that I did was his, that he does the biddle trick, but with a duplicate, and it's so good because you know you always do this bit where you sprinkle, like, or you fucking spring the entire deck somewhere, and that's what does the magic. But he thought, oh, okay, so I'm just gonna do the biddle trick. So let's say their card is the 4 diamonds. You have 4 diamonds in your shoe already, and you go, oh, tell me if you see your card, but don't tell me what it is. And you just do the biddle thing. They think their card's in here, right? So now when you count them as 5, you throw it on the shoe. They see 4. You're not having to pick up fucking the entire deck. The card vanishes from the small packet, appears in your shoe or anywhere. What a fucking wonderful way of doing that, rather than doing what I used to do, which is, okay, so you picked a card, great. Let me throw the entire deck at the ceiling, have all these cards fall down on the floor, and now I'm an asshole picking them up. Like, oh yeah, you like that trick? All right. Say, yeah,
Dude,
thank you, dude.
All about a duplicate with a biddle trick. I did this in my Blackpool lecture on stage. I taught it on my YouTube channel. It fucking blew up, considering it was a long card trick. So it's biddle trick, right? Am I thinking that what I'm trying to think what's the better way to phrase it. What happens is this, right? Kaylee in the video or the spectator picks a card, gets lost into the deck, and then you attempt to find it in their hands, right?
Mhm.
And then you come down to like 1 of 5, like this, and then so far it's essentially the same beats as the Biddle trick, but then it goes fucking crazy from here. So you're like, right, okay, I've got 5 cards in my hand. I don't think yours is the Ace of Spades. I don't think it's the 3 of Spades. Oh, is it the whatever the fuck it is, right? Yes, okay, watch this. Boom, it's gone. And you display, and then it's gone. And then this is where it starts going fucking mental. They spread through the deck, and they find that their cards in their hand, right? But then I say, this is the crazy part. This is the only card you're gonna pick. Turn it over. She turns it over, and it's got a blue back on it, right? Which is kind of crazy. It's the only card with the blue back. I say, this is the strange thing. All 4 of these cards have vanished, and you show that all these cards are blank. I say, but not just these. Every single card in the whole fucking deck is gone too. And when she spreads through the deck that she's been holding the whole way, every fucking card is blank.
That brought the house down a bit. Oh.
Really? I didn't see that. Wow, fuck.
Dude, it's on my YouTube channel. People, it's one of those, it's only a few tricks that I know that give people like this kind of like existential crisis where, like, one of them is Prism by Joshua J. That trick gets people like, what the fuck? Like, they just cannot fathom it because it's so well covered and layered that it's a red deck, and then it's a fucking Prism deck. But this Biddle trick, man,
at least
people
Josh still has Prism, because Andy Gladwin took away his fucking masculinity at this point.
Oh yeah, he's fucking alpha him. Although he has,
Took it away.
Andy Gladwin has alphaed all over Josh's face.
Yeah, he really fucking
slimed him. But yeah,
He's gonna start
dude,
doing
check it out.
push-ups.
I tell you what, when you lecture at Magi Fest in January, you'll walk in and it'll be Josh sitting in the cock chair.
With cake on his lap.
Hey, oh my god, I'd come, dude. I'd come, man. Fuck, just spontaneous. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so horny right now. You know what I've always wanted to do that I haven't done yet, but I still plan on. Anal, yeah, there's too much poop. But you know the change my mind thing, like this is that change my mind. Crowder, that Crowder does. I want to do that with Magic. Like, Magic is for virgins. Change my mind, right? I want to do that. Set up a table outside of a convention and do it that way. I haven't done it yet, and the only reason I haven't done it is because I don't want to buy the banner, right? Just because I'd have to buy a banner to put over a table, and then I have to sit there record myself, and I'm too lazy to do that. But I still want to do that at a fucking convention. Right. Like, Magic is whatever. Change my mind and get a bunch of fucking magicians to be like, well, first of all, I think you're wrong because I get laid often. You know, like, just getting these characters. Fuck. I think that'd be fun.
That, I was thinking of when you were when we were talking earlier, is you talked about people misremembering. Like they make it a better trick in their head than it actually was. I've never seen this before, but wouldn't that be a great premise for a trick? Where you say, you know what, that's interesting amongst magicians is sometimes we'll show someone a magic trick, and then if we speak to them 6 months later, they'll remember it as a much better trick than it actually was. Let me give you that example. And you show them a trick that blows their mind, but then they realize just a few seconds later that it's not what they saw. And somehow they have this moment of realization that it's actually a lot worse than it actually is. But in their head, they believed it was that way. Do you know, as a premise, that would be kind of a really interesting premise, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's cool. That's fucking cool. You could tag that onto pretty much anything, which is great.
Yeah, I've never
so let's boil it down. Start off with a building block of keeping it really basic and simple. So if you were going to do this in the context of the most basic shit card trick, how would that play out? And then start to expand it from there.
Well, the one that immediately comes to mind, I mean, I know it goes completely complicated, the opposite of what you said. But Craig, you brought up ape recently, and I think I sent you. I don't know if I sent you the thing, but I had an idea years ago because the basketball thing was something that I taught extensively in psychology. Every year, I'd show them that video, and it blew their minds because
you were an elementary school teacher.
I was a high school teacher. You fucktard. Okay, which I have to bring up. You fuck Pop-Tart. But the one that kind of ties into that is it was that they pick a card and then I'd have them count all the black cards as I'm dealing through them, right? I forgot for what reason. I have a reason for it. And then they count them, and then they on the back of the cards, it ends up saying your card is the 8 of spades or whatever as they go through, that they didn't see because they were too busy counting the red cards. And you'd have them pick a card beforehand and whatever. So that would be the revelation. So that's what I liked about it, because it sort of, you would do this thing that you would think it's obvious that they would see the actual writing on the back of the card, because the method is that you're just having them count the cards, and then throughout the entire time, you know, the card would pop up and they just don't see it. So it's very it reminded me of that sort of premise where it turns it on its head. But even that Biddle trick that Lloyd just said, that's a good fucking trick for that, because it's like, oh, you know, people misremember. Well, do you remember that the cards were blank? You know, do you remember that these cards didn't have it? It's kind of a shoehorn, but I think you could really.
I almost feel like it could start off by you filming something at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna film like
Penn and Teller. That's Penn and Teller's closer. Is that? It's so fucking good. They say, oh, I'm gonna show you a trick that we don't even want to do. It's awful. It's terrible. And in the middle of their set, they do something that is just. You're like, what? None of this makes sense. It's like 5 to 10 minutes, and they have somebody mix fucking candies in a bowl. They have somebody pick a card, and nothing makes sense. And then at the end, Penn goes on he's playing the drums, and he goes, oh, here's what you think you saw. And they play it in reverse. And when they play it in reverse, it's no longer that she's mixing these candies arbitrarily, is that she reaches in and pulls out fucking all the blue candies, because they're playing the footage in reverse of her mixing the candies in the bowl. Cool. Then of her unshuffling the deck, because they show a deck that's in new deck order. When you play backwards, she's mixing the deck, and then the deck goes back into the same order, and everything makes sense in the context. So they
end up an effect in it, and then they show that the deck is a mix.
Yeah, and then it ends with them fucking taking a bow in the audience, and things levitating because they were. It's fucking such a great closer. And it's it's that Darren bit too. That Darren in Something Wicked This Way Comes, where like throughout the whole thing, he's recording confabulation. Yeah, and these things that you remember a little bit, because I remember watching that show for the first time, and I'm like, why the fuck did he say that weird? You know, did he misspeak? That's odd that this eloquent guy misspoke. And then at the end, no, that's what he was using to get in your head to fucking force that word. And it's such a wonderful thing. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it's recording, I think, would be the move. Because in that way,
I wonder if I'm almost thinking it's like they think because what we were saying is that they think something happened, but it didn't. It was a different effect.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to stick to that, I'm trying to think like they think one trick is happening, but in reality, a completely separate effect has gone on at the same time, or not separate, but a different effect, and they've perceived it entirely different.
Yeah, that's the thing. They perceived it entirely as a better effect than they then realize it actually is, or something like that. But they still.
I'm trying to think. Like I do this thing for one phase of the ambitious card routine. I think I've shown it before, where the final phase is they do everything. So they place the card in the deck that they're holding, and all I do is I just say to them, "Do this with your fingers for me," and I give them a double, right? So I put a double in their hands like that. And I put the deck in their hands. I say, okay, so you can see your signed card, and they say, yeah. I say, now watch. We're gonna start at the beginning, and we're gonna start at the end. They'll put it back to where it's gonna go, and they drop it on top. They place it on top. They say, now slide it off, put it in the middle, and they do. And then I say, wave your hands and create the magic, and that comes back to the top. Right? It's one of the final phases I use for my ambitious card. Gets obviously great reactions. But I wonder if you could use it for a different context, where it's like, you hand them a double, and then you say, like, okay, so show everyone that the card's gonna, or even a triple, maybe, right? You can get away with it. Doubles are okay. So show everyone the card that's gonna come to the top, and you film it on your phone. They put it in, goes there, and then you record it. It hasn't come to the top, right? Oh, it didn't work. Fuck, never mind. And then later on, you force that Queen of Diamonds on someone. And you say, remember earlier, the trick didn't begin. The trick didn't work. And then when they watch the video back, the card that they thought was going to rise to the top. It's more of a color. It changes to the card that was chosen, which is what's the card you chose. And the video they watch back is them changing the 4 of spades into the queen of diamonds.
Oh, okay.
Well, it could also be you remember that Richard Wiseman trick from like 20 years ago that it's the color changing deck, but everything changes. And I think somebody redid it recently where it's like they show how to do a color changing deck trick, right? And then once you realize his shirt changed color, his hat changed color, the background changed color.
Yeah, that's a better example.
Yeah, so it could be a contextual effect where they miss an effect. So it could be it could start with a recording, right? And you just show them a basic trick or whatever, and then something happens around that you then bring back the recording, and it's like, don't you remember that I was wearing this colored shirt and that I had this on me or this color hat or whatever the fuck? And they look back and everything's changed, right? So that the trick is really misdirection for something
Your camera is
changing on the
frozen
person.
again.
Yeah.
What's good is you could have them record on their phone, and it's the perfect position to put a coin on their shoulder because their arms are locked in place. You know, so then you could just like watch the coin is going to vanish or change. It's not really the same as 2 separate things, though, is it? So they think something else is happening. Optics is a good one for that, where they think it's about the phone vanishing, but they've been holding it before it even started.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on the I like that basketball metaphor of when they're counting something and something else is happening that they're unaware of, that you then remind them of, or you show them like, oh, by the way, this happened. Like this happened throughout the time that you thought you were seeing a card trick. Really, this entire thing happened and you didn't fucking notice. And that's the trick, right? I think that would be a good fucking thing to sort of manufacture. Although I don't know what that thing would be because it fucking the shirt changed. That's already been done before. Although it's funny because you could do that in the context of them picking a card. I'm going to turn around so I don't see that. You do the Kalen Morelli bit. So your shirt's already changed. And then you could just introduce little things that you change throughout the entirety of the performance. So I thought
that has been done before. That's the only thing that has been done before.
Yeah. But I mean, as an answer to that thing of your memory being fallible, right? I think that would be a fucking good solution. Just
it's almost like you want them to do something, which they're certain they did. And then when you play it back to them, they fucking didn't do that at all. That's not what they did.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a fucking nice premise to munch on. Now you're going to keep Lloyd up because imagine if something as simple as an X card on a 2-card transposition was enough to keep your fucking, get your rocks off. You're going to be jerking off about this for the next fucking fortnight.
Yeah. It could be, I mean, you mentioned about Out of This World. It could be that you do an Out of This World, but then when they look back at the deck later on, it's actually shuffled and it never was separated. But they're convinced that it was separated into red and black. But, you know, there's a lot of different things. I think that's a premise worth exploring because I think that'd really fuck people's heads up in a very different, unique way.
Do you know what one of the best fucking tricks is that I've performed this and I still don't get it? I don't understand it. It is it's not by Kenton Knepper, but Kenton Knepper produced it. It's the psychological color changing deck. Do you remember this?
No.
I remember hearing about this.
Dude, it is so fucking good because you spread the cards, right, face down. You spread the cards face down and you go, no, I'll tell you what, it's very important that you remember that each and every single card is different because people think that I'm going to use a special deck. So look, just make sure that and then I don't want to go into the method, but that's pretty much a method. And you have them pick a card, right? That card fucking gets placed in a deck. He does this, that card changes color, and then the entire deck changes color. And remember, you spread the cards face down. So crazy. And I've done that for multiple people, and I'm always surprised as to how fucking well it works, considering there's no method. The method is you're just ballsy. You're showing them the fucking deck and it fucking changes color, but they don't remember the condition of the cards because you put so much emphasis on the faces of the deck. They don't remember the backs. So it's a wonderful little psychological thing, but I've always wanted to do more with that premise, with that principle of I'm going to take away attention from something that I've already shown you by bringing attention to something else and then bring it back up. And in this case, it worked great as a color changing deck trick because to some people, they're going to wonder, wait, there wasn't a trick. So what happened? Did I somehow convince this guy that they saw a trick? Because to some, if you do that, some people are going to remember. Wait, the deck was always that color.
Yeah, and the people that it works on are
Yeah.
the ones that there's no coming back from that because it's the most perfect pure method that can exist.
Yeah, because you showed the
It's the
deck.
best
you
lie is
spread
the
it.
ones we tell ourselves.
So that I've always wanted to do more with that because I think that there's so much to that principle, more so than just the color changing deck. It's that of I could show you something that you think is a current state. I bring emphasis to another aspect of it, more so than that. You forget about the first instance, and then that becomes the kicker. That becomes the sort of like, hey, by the way, did you realize? Bam, all the cards were this. So I think that there's something to that, but nobody's ever done anything with that past it. And I think that trick got terrible reviews, if I remember correctly. But Ben Highway, I think it was Ben Highway's psychological color changing deck presented by Kenton Nepper. So that was fucking top tier, but really underground effect. He also had that terrible one in the context. He had a terrible one in the context of an amazing one, which is a time machine. If you remember that somebody thinks of a time, and then that time ends up being etched on a coin.
Right.
Beautiful.
Okay.
But before that trick starts, part of the DVD was a name forget, right? Or where they forget their own name. And that is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Because he goes, all right, hi, my name's Kenton. And your name is 3, 2, 1. Great. Now you could say it. That's the trick that you interrupt them and then you reframe it as they forgot their name. And it's like, you just come off looking like a cunt. It's like, why did
you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet though sometimes.
Yeah, but he does that right before this unbelievable, amazing trick that I think is a modern classic, where somebody thinks of a year.
Maybe he was doing the Penn and Teller thing where he shows you something for 10 minutes that's absolute dog shit, and at the end, he shows you something really good.
Yeah,
and
but
he's just smoothing your own brain out for you.
He doesn't call back to it. He actually does call back to it because that's the reason he has them write down the date. Is he goes, oh, to make sure that you don't forget like you did just now to your name, do me a favor and write down the date. I'm like, what do you? And the person's like, what? I didn't forget my name. You just started counting. You know? Fuck. And it was published that way. It was Name Forget and Time Machine. And that was a DVD. And I'm like, what the? This isn't a trick. This isn't even a fucking hypnotic bit. But he redeemed himself with the Time Machine because that Time Machine is a modern classic trick.
I asked my Facebook followers to give me a couple of questions to ask you, numbskulls.
Dude, it's like how long have we been on this motherfucker now?
Only an hour. Time flies when you're.
It is a heat wave, and I'm in a little fucking wooden studio.
Let me ask you a couple of questions very quickly, and then we'll go because I can see you're mentally checking out and you're thinking of swimming pools. So let me very quickly just throw a couple of questions at you. Quick fire them, very quickly, just because I did ask, and a couple of people really want to know the answers to a couple of things. Very quick. Okay. Carl Barmer says, any thoughts on the recent Blackpool announcement about the new show?
No idea. Never heard of it. Next. No, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what they've announced. I love Blackpool.
They've announced for a select few people the day before the convention starts. There's going to be like this special event that's 18 plus only, and it's got this whole weird sort of Killer Rabbit vibe.
Are they doing that because somebody put on a show that started the day before Blackpool last year?
I don't know, but I would.
Sounds like it.
What impact will what impact will AI have on commercial Magic in the years to come? Is the new David Penn AI robot creative?
It's trend jacking for sure.
Yeah.
It's trend
what the fuck? What is a David Penn AI robot?
David Penn has a new show that he's doing at the Magic Circle and everywhere. And it's like, because he's branded as the tech magician. So he's got this show where he's got this robot with him on stage. I haven't seen the show. Everyone's raving about it. It's David Penn and his robot. And David, being the ever fucking expert at PR, he's got the entire UK journalism community because he tried to get this robot to join the Magic Circle and the Magic Circle said no. So now, like, got every single newspaper going, robot gets denied access to the Magic Circle despite being on a stage where, performing at the Magic Circle every night, sort of thing. It's
I don't like that day. One time I went to the Magic Circle, and then afterwards we went to an Indian restaurant, and David Penn came and shook everybody's hand but mine in the table. I don't like that. David Penn doesn't
Why?
like me, and I love him. I love David Penn, and he doesn't like me, and I don't like that.
think
I want to be
Dave-
David Penn's friend.
I think Dave likes.
You see the torn corner?
Yeah. Whoa.
What are you, fucking Kalen Morelli?
I'm fucking my wife.
What?
Shit.
What the fuck? Context.
I don't know. I don't
How
know.
do we get from Kellen Morelli to
I
fuck
don't
your
I
wife?
don't know. I was just looking at the fucking these things. Oh, we kind of looks kind of like a. You won't believe.
Oh.
I'm bored and I want to go in my pool. So fuck off.
Okay, I'll do the questions next week because I can tell that Lloyd has been.
Give us one more.
One more. Your friend and my friend Stuart Etheridge.
My liege, my hero.
What would you all do if you were asked and got the job to be the next Prime Minister of England?
Huh. Well, what did I do? Fucking. Oh,
Do you want a
I'm
real
gonna.
answer?
Right. I was about to rant.
I would nationalize the rails. I'd nationalize water companies. I'd throw as much money at children's services as possible and education. I'd triple teachers' wages. I'd triple nurses' wages. I would tax billionaires. I'd make it illegal to own properties that don't have anyone residing in it. I would make sure that there's a law like in France where if you have leftover food at food outlets, it gets donated to homeless shelters on the day, so they get given food. I'd fucking tax corporations like Google, Starbucks, and any other billionaire status company that fuck any company correctly.
I
Yeah.
implement capital murder for people that jack phones. That's what I do. The fucking snatchers, dude. You'd blast off, fool. Putting a paint on a sidewalk and going, mind your phone. Hey guys, watch your phone because there's a lot of phone stealers here. So I'm gonna put the thing on you rather than on them. No. They get fucking just shotgun blast in the chest if they steal a phone. That's my hot take. If I be prime minister, I'd do the fucking and I'd also do the Boris Johnson thing where I'd play soccer with like 4-year-olds and I'd just fucking Goldberg spear them.
Yeah, that's how he became prime minister. He's been lethal.
Do you remember that video?
Craig, what would you do?
I'd make it illegal to have Americans sue UK citizens, and if they tried to do that, I'd make it punishable by death.
Nice. Fuck yeah, dude.
would-
That's fuck.
I would make social media illegal for under 18s, even though it's under 16s. I think it's damaging for them.
Isn't that a thing now? Didn't they do that already? It's
I'd
like a joke.
even though I'm sober, they did. Even though I'm sober, I would help pubs stay alive because I think pubs are a big part of British culture.
Yeah, they are.
I wish we had that here. We don't fucking have pub culture. We have fucking just cackles of oh my god. That's what you go. You hear anytime you go walk in any bar. It's just a bunch of like hyenas laughing. Meanwhile, I missed the pub culture of like, oh, it's my round. I'm gonna go, and every business transaction took place in a bar. Any sort of like conversation that's progressing life forward takes place in the confines of a bar. We don't have that here. Here we have fucking $8 Corona beers. What?
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's shit.
Yeah, dude. I was just yesterday because we have a bunch of Scottish fucks here because of the World Cup. They call themselves the Tartan Army, and they've moved from Boston to down here, Miami. And my significant other made me go to a bar yesterday at 11 o'clock at night. So I'm cranky because I haven't slept, essentially, just to watch a bunch of people in kilts sing Mr. Brightside at a fucking dive bar. And I'm like, what? Or no Scotland, no party. I'm like, what are you fucking? Maybe I'm disillusioned from the times I've been to England that's just every country in England just has that, but with different clothes. Like in England, it's just people wearing fucking, I don't know, soccer shit. In Scotland, it's people wearing kilts. In Wales, it's people fucking sheep and singing. Like, it's all like, I'm just tired of it, you know. But for her, it's novel because she doesn't see that. But I've seen it way too much.
I love that we're sitting here watching while we're chatting. We're watching Lloyd create a new gimmick while we're actually chatting. He's going through the process of creating a new piece of magic.
Next tutorial Tuesday.
Yeah, we're watching him literally figure out a way to take a piece, to tear a corner off a card and turn it into visually headphones.
It doesn't make sense yet. It doesn't make any sense because it's just like, I know.
Yeah, you tear it. Okay, I'm just gonna hold this corner.
Take a playing card, tear it, place it on the front of the cards when holding both objects with one hand.
As you do.
Yeah, see the one corner there. It needs to be more convincing. And then it needs to be a reason for buy this AirPods or anything else, like a marshmallow or something.
The torn corner. Then you fucking open up the thing, and they're the AirPods that you just put on your ears, and then in your ears, the corner of the card.
Yeah, speared on it or something.
Or hanging off from your little dainty earring. But you have to get earrings like I do. And then you have to get made fun of every time you go to anywhere and be like, oh, look at Mr. fucking...
Dude, I can't put earrings in, man.
Really?
Yeah, I got a wife.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. That's fucked. Well, luckily for me, I have the little... I realized that I could do that because I have a little bottle that I hang here with the piece of glass that almost killed me, that Peter Turner slammed me through.
Do you have any more of that glass? Could I have some of that?
I think he fucking threw it away. So this piece, I told him to fucking cut off, and I was going to make it into a ring or an earring, but then I ended up just doing it the getaway and getting a small bottle and putting it in there. But I think he fucking threw it away.
I'm going to turn it into a Horcrux and have fucking complete control over you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's the power that, like, you hold it and it becomes the urn that Paul Bearer would hold.
Off, I'll just squeeze it and your balls hurt.
That's for Craig, by the way. That was for Craig, a reference for a wrestling reference for Craig Petty.
I appreciate
Guys,
it.
I have to go. It's getting too hot. I love you all.
Right, look, I love you all.
My knees are
Be
sweating.
back next
I'm like
week.
Pig Cake's mum.
My mom's a wonderful young man. Okay.
She has a beautiful cock. It's almost as big as Gladwin's. E.T. horse gear.
Nah, man, Andy Gladwin's got the biggest cock in magic. I mean, that guy.
It's veinier than a Snickers.
When I grow up, I want to be Andy Gladwin. I mean, every young kid wants to be Andy Gladwin. That's a guy that's taken out the trash one fucking asshole at a time. Pig Cake, watch out. Gladwin's coming for you.
Don't fuck kids.
Have a shit week.
And don't be a cunt. We'll be back next week. Fuck you all.
We apologize for disrupting your normal daily schedule. You may now relax, tuck your deck back in, and resume your regular day-to-day life. Remember to subscribe to be notified the moment each new episode goes live every Wednesday. And join our Facebook group to continue the conversation. The link is in the description to this podcast. Thank you for listening to The Magic Podcast.